Sixers, we're the Flyers, we're the Phillies, and, of course, we're the Philadelphia Eagles. Best record right now in the NFL. All play right here in this sports complex. Tonight, it's a night, though, for college football and a matchup in the American Conference, a rematch of the championship game in the American from last year. The Midshipmen of Navy have come on the road to take on the Owls of Temple. Well, on Thursday night this year, Adnan mentioned who we got with us. We've had brothers, we've had Heisman winners, we've had Pac-12, Big Ten. Tonight, our first father-son combo. Mike Golick Sr. was a star at Notre Dame, and then in this city with the Eagles for so many years. Pretty good-looking highlight there. And Mike Jr., who also played for Notre Dame for 4 years, more than 40 games of playing experience for the Irish. And we are thrilled to have both of them with us here tonight. Welcome inside the booth here at the Link, as they call it. Dave Fleming along with the Golicks. Notice how your dad had us put up the head-to-head records from your Notre Dame careers against Navy?
As if his reminders all week weren't enough in the production meeting this morning, he has spared no expense.
I had nothing to do with it, 4-0.
Sad.
4-0.
2-2. We might talk about that a little bit. We are going to talk about what we think has a chance to be a really good matchup. It's been a funny year on both sides. The rematch from the championship game, so there was a lot of expectation for both programs. For Navy, a lot of good, but maybe not quite as good as they thought it would be.
Yeah, at 5-2, this is still a team that's in the mix, but if you listen to Coach Niumatalolo talk about it, it feels like more in 2-5 as they've headed to the bye week, and a lot of that has to do with their standard of discipline. 6th in the nation in penalties, 21st in penalties allowed, and 8 turnovers in the last 2 games. As he put it to this team, we have to get back to playing Navy football now.
Yeah, so the standard is very high in those regards. We'll talk about that as we go along. Some of the good and bad with their quarterback. He's kind of been at the center of it all. Zach Abey is a tremendous talent, has done a lot of good things, has also been sloppy, a guy with a great story. For more on him, let's go down to the field and welcome in Laura Rutledge.
Yeah, Dave, Zach Abey is out here living his dream. He grew up in Pasadena, Maryland, which is about 12 miles from the Naval Academy there in Annapolis, Maryland, and grew up seeing the midshipmen walking around in their uniforms. He said, I want to be like that one day. I want to go there. It was his dream to go to the Naval Academy, not only to play football, but also to serve his country. Incredibly important to this young man. He was a rugby player, he was a wrestler, and a lot of his coaches say he kind of plays football that way, but still, the utmost importance for him is to be out here representing his future military career, guys.
Good stuff, Laura. We'll talk a lot about Zach Abey as we go along here tonight. Okay, Dad, let's focus on the Owls for a minute, because Temple, this is a team that has raised the standard in this program. You were in this city. Temple football wasn't much when you played for the Eagles. The last few years they have been. This year they're 3-5. What's going on?
As you mentioned, champions last year. They have first-round picks. They have NFL players as well. Then Matt Rule leaves. Jeff Collins comes in, has some SEC background. But what happens is they're trying to find their identity. They have a backup quarterback making his second start. This is a 2 tight end, 2 back offense. Now they're more spread, running the inside zone. So they're trying to figure out here in week 8, week 9, really who they are. It's a younger squad. So that's Jeff Collins, his job right now. What kind of team do we have? Who are our bell cows that we can hang our hat on for the rest of this year and then going forward?
That is not a problem that Navy has. Navy knows exactly who they are. They're matched up against this Temple Owls, trying to figure it out in a game here in the American. Kickoff coming up in Philadelphia just moments away now. A look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
How is it that we keep getting older, but the mascots stay the same age?
Yeah, Brutus hasn't aged a day since I left Ohio State.
You know, mascots are just genetically different than we are. They're just immune to the aging process.
Flip.
Whoa.
Flip. 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 You guys want to join me for some flips?
Tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. Next time, Herschel.
I don't do flips.
Okay. Back to practice. Flip time.
I keep telling you guys, he's part mascot.
Flip. 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 Flip.
Oh, Joe. Nobody needs to see that. Would you lock the door next time? Now I can't unsee it.
Welcome to the Nissan pregame rush. Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
We don't lose here. We're undefeated. And the way we win, we play Navy football.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Everybody, burn your
All in the canoes, ready to go here in Philadelphia. That's the head coach, Ken Niumatalolo, who has more wins, has been the head coach at Navy longer than any coach in their football history. And he's got another good team. He has been a little cranky these last couple weeks about how Navy has played. They played 2 good opponents, but lost 2 games in a row. The midshipmen here in their home away from home. Philadelphia has been a great home for Navy football over many, many years, more than a century. Navy's been playing football games here in the city of brotherly love. As the midshipmen get ready to kick the ball off, Navy did win the toss. They're going to defer and take the ball to start the second half. This has been the Nissan pregame rush. So that means Jeff Collins and his Temple Owls will have the ball first. Dave Fleming, Mike Golick Sr., Mike Golick Jr., Laura Rutledge, all with you here on a Thursday night from Philly. Ready to go. Jeff, who came from Florida, defensive coordinator for a couple of seasons with the Gators, now the head coach, first year at Temple. And the kickoff toward the goal line, it'll be Mike Jones to return it for the Owls. Jones, who is dangerous in the open field, gets upended. And Temple will have the ball starting around their own 23-yard line. And guys, one big storyline coming into this game for the Owls is their starter, guy who started 7 games, Logan Marshy, will not be the starter tonight. He's still not 100% healthy. So the second career start for junior Frank Newtile.
Yeah, looking for a guy who, again, he's a bigger guy. Marcia, a smaller guy, would run the ball some, so they kind of lose that. You're going to see, this quarterback at 6'4", about 230 pounds, more of that pocket passer presence when they're mixing the pass and the run. And
I do think, Senior, one thing we will watch closely tonight is what's the identity of this Temple offense? It has fluctuated at times this year. They're throwing the ball on first down and a completion right away that will net about 13 yards. Isaiah Wright, who has become the big play guy in the offense. You figure that Newtile's going to look for Isaiah Wright a lot tonight, and those are the numbers that Senior's talking about. 6'4", big kid, first career start. He played pretty well last game for Temple against Army.
And we heard Coach Collins talk about moving more towards that spread identity. You saw it on the first play. Motion Hood out of the backfield, 5 wide, and try and get an easy completion to start your quarterback off.
This time they give it to David Hood, who has not been the starter for most of the year for Temple at running back. They're going to move Newtile out as a wide receiver and bring Isaiah Wright into the backfield. This will be one way out of several that they get number 13 touches. He's the guy they think is their most dynamic player on offense. A direct snap, and he was just going to go, and for good reason. Out into the open. Isaiah Wright still on his feet into Navy territory down to the 32.
So what we saw, first play, we saw a spread. We saw the quick pass. Second play, the inside run. They started talking about more. Third play, get Isaiah Wright the ball. And he goes wide. They get a numbers game to the outside, and his athletic ability does the rest. And they're right back up to the line. Hurry up tempo offense.
So a gain of 29 yards into Navy territory. Newtile back at quarterback with David Hood on his left side. Newtile's going to quick release it out. And another completion for another nice gain and a Temple first down. That's Adonis Jennings.
And this is the perfect start that you're looking for. Again, trying to build that identity, take what's going on underneath, find ways to get Isaiah Wright the ball, and they're going to make sure that happens early, often, and in a lot of ways that Navy's defense is going to have to think about during this first sideline break.
More quick tempo, moving the ball very nicely here on their first drive. Hood on the right side with a big hole, down close to the 10. He took a big hit, but a gain of 7, close to 8. Sean Williams from safety made the tackle.
And you see it there, one thing they wanted to emphasize was moving away from some of these outside zones. Simpler looks, inside zone, power. Give the running back a 1 or 2 cut read, and right there you saw Hood put his foot in the ground and find that cutback lane.
First drive of the game for the Owls. 2nd and 3, just outside the 10. Newtile on the move, that one incomplete. Intended for Jennings, it'll be 3rd down.
Well, so that was the first out of rhythm play we've had. They've been in rhythm. They've had the Navy defense on their heels a little bit. First time it goes out of rhythm, and that's where Newtile, as a second-time starter, he's going to have to learn a little more to go out, be patient, wait a little longer. He had time. There was no reason to rush that throw. You could see it wasn't going to be inbound. See if anything else can develop before you have to throw the ball away or run.
And that was a little glimpse into what you were talking about, too. He's not quite as comfortable on the move out in the open field. 3rd and 3. Newtile throws across the middle, and it's caught by Wright for a first down. It'll be 1st and goal, Temple.
And you want to talk about an identity builder. 3rd and short, what are you going to do? Line up and run it, try and pound it in there, or go back to what you started the game with, 5 wide. Clearly, they're comfortable getting their bread and butter, treating the short passing game much like a run game.
I'll come back, I would imagine, here the way it's kind of been going with that run. Let that old line open some things up, give the back the options of what he wants to do. Brought a tight end in.
David Hood, who is the healthier of the 2 top tailbacks, a guy who's getting the ball on this first drive. That time, not much running room. Stopped, and maybe didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Lost about a half yard.
Big man Jackson Pittman in the middle. I've liked him, the Pittman on the D-line. We haven't had a chance to talk much about the Navy defense. They've been getting moved on here, but he's a big, stout D lineman inside, uses his hands extremely well. Try to go straight up the gut. He said, no way.
And you guys who each had 4 games of playing experience when you were at Notre Dame against Navy, both noted all week long how much bigger this Navy team is than the Navy teams that you guys face. That one incomplete. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Just being down on the field before the game and seeing these lines come out together, you're so used to the stereotypical smaller bodies, guys that are limited by what they're required to do post-college life in their military careers, but instead they've built a really impressive physical-looking group.
I was stunned. I mean, it hasn't been too long since Mike has played against them, but, you know, mine was in the early 80s, and, I mean, there was a huge difference just in body type being down there, as Mike said we were. I mean, they just good-looking big and good-looking athletes.
Now this big play here early in this game, 3rd and goal. Newtile is going to throw a fade. It is incomplete, knocked away. Good play on the ball intended for Adonis Jennings. A moment had his hands on it.
The ball was there. The one thing you notice on that drive with Newtile, when he had to roll out, he was not accurate. When he got to stay in the pocket, look at that ball is a nice ball on them. Just a little wide for when the receiver coming down out of bounds. But you can tell Newtile is much more comfortable in the pocket, making more of the quick throw.
And look at the play by the plebe and Micah Farrar, a guy they really like in this secondary that's being asked to play more man-to-man, to challenge these receivers a bit.
That was a good play. There are very few first-year players that get a lot of playing time for Navy with all the demands on, as they call the plebes. This field goal from 22 yards from Aaron Bumeri is up and good. So Temple marches the ball down the field. They get 4 first downs, but they stall inside the 10 and settle for 3. The Owls, though, can feel satisfied. Good start here in Philly. Temple with the 3-0 lead. Allstate, proud to be part of the team that comes together to do good by contributing to participating universities' general scholarship funds. For each field goal and extra point kicked, to date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Beautiful look at the Ben Franklin Bridge. Just a few miles from where we are here in Philadelphia. 3-0. Temple kicks a field goal after taking the opening drive. 73 yards down the field. They take a 3-0 lead against the midshipmen of Navy. And Navy in their triple option attack will have the ball for the first time. Malcolm Perry, kick returner. Perry, who's got great speed. Huge hole. Perry to the 40. Perry breaks a tackle inside Temple territory and down to the 36-yard line.
What a monster hole there was. He didn't have to adjust at all until he got down to his 40-yard line. Just a fantastic job. What a just absolute clear out by blocks and Temple players not staying in their lanes.
You know, we talked to Coach all week, and they said they want to try and find ways to get this guy the ball. He's that kind of playmaker for them. Well, one of the easy ways is just let them kick it to him for him.
He is a tremendous athlete, the big playmaker on this Navy offense. Navy got healthy during their bye week leading into this Thursday night game. That kick return, by the way, 58 yards. Great field position for the midshipmen. Perry in motion. AB's going to pass on first down. Well, I thought he was. Now he's going to run. He's good at that. And he gets a nice gain on first down. We all talk about how different it is to be a football player at Navy. For more on that, let's welcome in Laura.
Yeah, it's even more different this week, Dave, because they are having 12-week exams, which means each player on this Navy team has about 6 to 7 exams to take. Some of them have already taken them, but of course, preparing for a Thursday game messed the schedule up just a little bit for them. And so now they will have to take some of them on Friday at 06:30 hour, by the way.
Yeah, which for the rest of us is really early in the morning.
Nice,
well, maybe not for you two, but for most of us, that's pretty early in the morning. That's like middle of your workday.
I was going to say, that's lunchtime for us. Are you kidding me?
Back. Offense.
Well, here we go.
88. 10-yard penalty. Take it down.
This is the thing that Ken Niumatalolo harped about more than anything else to us this week. The penalties, it's a high standard at Navy.
Just a little bit. Seeing all those ones up in the column lets you know what they're accustomed to. And for a place that expects discipline in all facets of your time at the academy, this is no different. And Coach Ken very fired up throughout the week.
He's furious that they're the 6th least penalized team in the country. Furious.
I mean, most people would be ecstatic for that.
We're having a great year.
But again, when you see all the ones, that's the expectation. And when we talked to Ken, during the week, you could tell he was down. As Mike said in the open, he felt like they were 2-5, not 5-2. They really thought they should, be something if they got beat. But he feels like they're giving some of their games away. They say they always respect their opponent, but they felt like they gave some of these games away with the turnovers and the penalties.
3rd and 5. The penalty wiped away a first down. Navy under center. Will hand the ball to the fullback, and that's going nowhere. Chris High, who is healthy for this game after missing the last one for Navy, he got driven backwards.
And you can see it up on this front. Saw it against Army playing against a similar triple option attack. But you're going to see movement out of this Temple front, and that time the defensive lineman moving one gap over, giving these quarterbacks a little bit tougher look at that first part of the option attack, the fullback dive.
Well, Navy doesn't like to punt. They like to go for it. This time they're going to try, at least on the surface, a long field goal. Bennett Mooring, junior from Arkansas, from 48 yards out to try to tie the game. Good snap and hold. The kick is on the way, and it is right down the middle and good. How about that?
Strong start from both offenses, what you can expect. Certainly no identity problems for Navy.
A guy who'd been 4 of 8 kicking field goals from 48 was just perfect. Early on here at Philly, tied at 3.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football, brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and Chick-fil-A. Start game day strong with the new breakfast hash brown scramble bowl.
Well, you do kind of feel for Temple here in this great sports city with so much going on, because Temple has developed a really solid football program these last few years. Matt Rule is now the head coach at Baylor. Jeff Collins has taken over. It's hard to get the attention of the folks. You, Mike Sr., know it so well. The Eagles, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Phillies, and on and on and on.
It's a pro town, but Villanova basketball as well. Yep. But for the most part, it's a pro town. And Temple, College Game Day was here a couple of years ago. So, I mean, they had really brought that program up. But as we said, they're kind of a young team now trying to reestablish again. And with Collins, that SEC's trying to bring that SEC mentality here to Temple to try and help this team grow up.
It's a school that has, I think, over the last few years developed more school spirit. It's a school that's thriving here in the city of Philadelphia, which is such a great sports town. Isaiah Wright this time will return the kick, and Wright, who bobbled the ball a little bit when he first touched it, just gets outside the 15 at the 16. We're talking about the pro sports, especially here in Philadelphia, and it is an interesting time. Carson Wentz has just become a sensation in this town. Eagles are 7-1. Gabe Kapler just introduced today as the manager of the Phillies. The Sixers haven't been at 500 since 2013. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, they're excited about those two guys.
Look what happens when you trust the process, Dave. It's that simple. Put your faith in the process, and it will take care of you.
Look what happens when Embiid and Ben can be on the court and then not be injured. It looked like some young, excellent players that give them a little bit of time.
I wouldn't put it past Joel Embiid to be either at this game or watching this game. He has been sort of Mr. Enthusiasm everywhere he goes. Newtile's going to throw, and a nice delivery right across the middle for a big gain. Out to the 40-yard line to Keith Kirkwood, number 5, one of the leaders on this Temple offense.
You can tell he is a rhythm passer, and he has found his rhythm right now. You see a couple of steps, just drills the ball. Again, 6'4", 225, more that spread offense, that hurry-up offense as well. When he's in rhythm, he's on time, and he is on the mark.
The single-digit numbers for Temple are numbers of honor. Those are the leaders of the program. Kirkwood especially. This time it'll be number 17, Jennings with the catch. Kirkwood wears number 5. That was Jeff Collins' number when he played college football. So he said in the spring when they were giving out the single digits, number 5 to him was the #1 position of honor. So he gave Keith Kirkwood the first single-digit number officially for this season. There's the first-year head coach of Temple. Fun guy to talk to. Very enthusiastic. Has to like the way his offense has started this game.
And you see Navy on the other side taking chances, showing pressure the last couple of series. And the protection up front becomes increasingly more important for Temple. Had 4 new starters on the offensive line in their game against Army, getting some healthy bodies back for this game, and it's showing early the way they're executing.
Kirkwood, another catch, first down Temple.
You mentioned it about Collins and what he's trying to bring here, and you know, it wasn't working really up to this point. As I said, losing 4 of the last 5, so getting the healthy players back certainly is going to help. Those are they're out there and they're starters for a reason, but I think they really have found something here, spreading it out a little bit with this quarterback that can throw. Going to be real interesting when Marshy, who's a smaller quarterback, is able to come back, how they run that offense.
He is available tonight, but not 100% healthy. Handoff to Raquel Armstead, who's a talented running back. Armstead for a decent gain on first down.
Over 900 yards for him last year on the ground, but a toe injury really hampering him for a lot of the season. They said this is the best he's felt so far this year.
I mean, he has had some huge games in his Temple career from Millville, New Jersey, home of Mike Trout. Trout's
there you
hometown.
go. Fun fact. Nice.
I'll drop a few over the course of the night.
Mike Trout, who was still living back there with his parents for a while, even into that multi-million-dollar Major League Baseball career.
He loves being in this stadium. He loves rooting for his Eagles. He is a Philly sports guy, Mike Trout. Kirkwood with another catch to set up third down and short.
I tell you what I like they're doing. They're kind of emptying the playbook out with the different passes, different routes. It is really putting Navy on their heels. Navy has adjusted this year. We'll talk more about their defense. They want to be more aggressive. But that's one way to take the aggressiveness out of a defense, is to hit them with passes from the middle to the outside, the inside zone runs that end up outside as well. Now you got them reacting a little bit more instead of being proactive, they're reactive.
3rd and 3, moving the ball well against that Navy defense, showing some pressure here on 3rd and 3. Play clock all the way down, and they did not get the play off. And that now I say that first they got the timeout.
Yeah. Timeout. Coach saved him.
Yeah, that was about to be a big mistake. Instead, just the first time out of the first half. We'll take a break ourselves. Temple on the move. Temple and Navy tied at 3. Big test this Saturday for number 6 Ohio State, coming off that amazing win against Penn State. Now they go on the road and take on Iowa. We know how good the Hawkeyes are at Kinnick. Saturday's 3:30 Eastern right here on ESPN. Also available on the ESPN app. It's 3rd and 3 out of the timeout, which saved the penalty. The Owls in Navy territory. Move the ball well. They will throw down the sideline. Jennings is open. It's caught, and it's a touchdown. 40 yards on 3rd and 3, and the Owls are in the end zone.
And you saw on Navy defense, they fired both those linebackers inside. You're bringing extra on the blitz, and what does that mean? You're manned up on the outside. Elijah Merchant, one of their best cover guys, just gets beat straight up off the line, and from there it's pitch, catch, and a walk into the end zone.
It's the one thing Navy wanted to do, and one of the first times we saw it tonight, where they came up and played that tight, aggressive man. And Ken Niumatalolo even said he was nervous changing to that a little bit, because, you know, and seeing his guy get burned there, not even getting your hands on the receiver, that's going to make it very difficult to cover.
Yeah, Ken told us he was watching our Thursday night telecast to start the year, Ohio State, Indiana. Watch those Indiana receivers over and over again, burning the Buckeyes, and said, I don't know about this aggressive defense. He might be wondering the same thing here after this play. The Temple offense coming to life against Navy here in the first quarter, and they lead the midshipmen 10-3. Big ACC doubleheader on ABC this Saturday. Number 4 Clemson, number 20 North Carolina State, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Then at 8 Eastern, it is number 13 Virginia Tech, undefeated Miami, a test for the 10th-ranked Hurricanes. Both games big-time ACC and playoff implications. Both will stream live on the app. That's in the ACC on Saturday. We are in the American here on Thursday night, and Temple is looking a little more like the team that was the American champions last year, coming in 3-5, not playing great football. This first quarter has gone very well for the Owls. Maybe with the big kick return last time for Perry. There is a flag already on the play. This time, no running room.
That's going to be flag there is going to be offsides, I would imagine, on the kicking team.
So and we'll see what Navy decides to do. We'll wait for the call from this American crew, maybe waiting for word from the Navy sideline.
Offside. Kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
And they're going to re-kick here. So they want Temple to kick it again. And when you got a guy like number 10 back there to receive, you can understand why.
Anytime you get those kicking units out there and you get a chance to make all those guys line back up and run down the field again, you watch out and put yourself on high alert, because this is where a little bit of fatigue sets in and all of a sudden a crease opens up. And with a guy like Jennings back there, it could go long in a hurry.
100% agree. Always make those guys run again. Always do that.
Perry, excuse me.
No, make him kick it again. See what happens. And this is a much shorter kick. Perry's ready for it. He'll take it about the 17-yard line. This is going to work out very well for Navy, except for more penalty flags.
It's going to work out well until they go back 10 yards.
Yeah, this will drive the coaches nuts.
And that was an easy one to see.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 80, 10-yard penalty. Touchdown.
Well, big story for this Navy football team all year long has been their offensive coordinator, Ivan Jasper, who is such a big part of this program, but more specifically with his son, Jaron, who is a great kid, 14 years old. Showtime sharing some footage with us of Jaron, who was in the hospital for a long time, just about 2 months, a life-threatening heart condition that was detected only with a routine physical, getting ready to play fall football as a 14-year-old, and it has been an ordeal for Jaron. And we are thinking about him. This whole Navy program has rallied around Jaron Jasper in this 2017 season, and he has become, he already was a huge part of this program, even more so now. Jaron is watching tonight. He's back home, which has been great. Ivan telling us the family has loved having him back home. They're just kind of waiting. They need a transplant, so they're waiting for the right time, the right donor. They feel like that will happen sooner rather than later, as Temple moves on the line and the penalty flag's thrown against the Owls. This time you can see the sweatshirt of the head coach, Ken Niumatalolo, when he turns around and faces us, if he ever does. Stop walking away. There he is.
5-yard penalty.
JJ with the heart in the middle of the midshipman logo. Well, Jaron Jasper has been, we talk about the toughness of Navy football. He, as a 14-year-old kid, has embodied that.
And the family aspect of this, I mean, Coach Ken and Coach Jasper know each other going back to Hawaii, so these guys as families have been around each other for so long.
Offside, defense, number 94 by contact, 5-yard penalty.
Offsides
this is going to be an easy drive for Navy if Temple really keeps doing that.
But going back to Coach Jasper, I mean, what an incredible story there and fight of that 14-year-old you mentioned, of toughness and family. And when Coach Jasper has to leave, everybody rallying around to pick up the slack for it, and just it's a story you obviously want just an incredibly happy ending.
Yeah, and it's a good point, Junior, that you make. This coaching staff maybe has more continuity than any other staff in college football. These guys have been together for so long, so many years. They know the system inside and out. And so it gives Ivan the freedom to be with his son. And his assistant coaches help pick up the slack. And I think that would be the case at pretty much every program, but it's particularly true with the midshipmen. AB with the pitch, and on the corner, a nice gain to Daryl Bonner.
And boy, it seems like Zach Abey might be getting reckless. We know, or restless, excuse me. We know the coaches talk about with this offense, you let the defense dictate where the ball goes, and the fullback number been called a lot early, and you saw there him finally getting the ball in his hands, getting a chance to make a play.
That decision making, it's the heart and soul of this triple option offense. There's so much put on the quarterback in this offense.
even with these sideline checks that you see right now, the defense is going to adjust too. And at that point, it's on AB to make sure he gets them in the right spot.
AB's having a huge season personally running the ball. He had a hole, but it closed up, and he did not get the first down. Stopped at least a yard, maybe a yard and a half short.
I'll tell you what, he's a guy averaging 29 carries a game. So we know he loves to carry the ball. But this interior of this Temple defense on the D linemen, and they rotate them. They'll use 9, 10, 11 D linemen. They held Army a couple of weeks ago under Army's average in the option. And Navy's the leading rushing team in the country with what they can do. And this Temple front is doing a nice job taking the options away.
Yeah, so far holding up well. Well, I mean, this is Navy football here. They're in their own territory, short of their own 40-yard line, and they're going for it in the first quarter on 4th and a yard. AB will keep it. AB, tough guy running. He needed a yard. He got a couple. First down, midshipman.
When Navy needs a play, watch for this the entire night. Most of the plays you'll see the fullback go as part of that triple option attack. When they need yards, they run this quarterback sweep right here. You'll see the fullback pull up almost as an extra lead blocker, and AB's going to get in right alongside him and just try and find a crease. This guy counts on himself to make plays for this team.
That speaks to the number that your dad talked about. 29 carries a game for the quarterback is a lot. And you figure all the extra hits, because even on the plays where he officially doesn't get a carry.
Well, when he pitches the ball, you're still hitting him. Absolutely.
Like probably right here. Even if he had pitched the ball, he took a big hit from Artrell Foster, the defensive back for Temple. These are the numbers we're talking about with Zach Abey. I mean, he almost rushes it 30 times per game. Nobody in college football carries it more. He's the second leading rusher per game. Only Bryce Love more in the country. 13 rushing touchdowns. The numbers are really impressive.
And at times I think he has to be careful is the wrong word, but a little more prudent. Memphis, 5 turnovers. I mean, there are times he should have handed the ball off, should have made pitches, but he kept the ball. Like there, good pitch, but great defense again by Temple. I can't tell you how amazed I am. I mean, but I shouldn't be, because they did hold Army under their average by quite a bit of what they're doing now to Navy, who is a better rushing team than Army. Again, 376 yards per game they're averaging. And what Temple is doing is taking the options away, forcing it right to the one man, and then rolling up on that one man. They're just playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage now.
That was the middle linebacker, Sean Bradley, who is a good player. Young linebacking core, very talented for Temple, playing well early. 3rd and 7. AB's going to throw deep. It is incomplete and not real close. It'll be 4th down. And this time the midshipmen will punt the ball away.
The one thing they have is they played Army, so they got used to that blocking scheme. And playing against the option is simple yet difficult. Play your responsibility. If you're responsible for the fullback, play him. If you're responsible for the quarterback, be patient. And especially if you're responsible for the pitch man, hang there until you know the ball is declared somewhere else. You have to play disciplined defense, and you have to run to the ball.
Punting has been an adventure for Navy this year. Owen White will kick this one, and not a great looking punt, but it's going to end up being fairly effective. It'll roll inside the 15 and all the way down to the 12-yard line. Doesn't have to be pretty. Good punt for the midshipmen, but Temple's offense coming back on the field. Well, the ESPN app, a fan's best friend. Stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live at home or on the go. You get all the scores, news, and all that stuff. Mostly, for me at least, you get the games. So Saturday, you got to have it. Download it now, the ESPN app.
Another thing Temple's doing a good job of, I talked about Army leading the nation in rushing, so what goes along with that? Time of possession. And right now, it's even. 7 minutes apiece. Temple's been doing a nice job with taking time on their drives.
We saw that graphic. They have not been a good first quarter offensive team until tonight. By far their best first quarter. Another completion, this time Marshall Ellick. Let's go downstairs to Laura.
Dave, Navy's defensive coordinator Dale Pearson talking to his defenders and saying, hey guys, you've got to get your eyes over to the sideline a little more for some of these sideline checks. The players telling him that Temple is going so fast at times and able to get lined up and then making adjustments that they're having a hard time counter-adjusting to that.
And this is another shift to that spread identity, being able to infuse some tempo in a team and in an offense that last year was used to lining up with 2 backs and trying to just pound it down your throat.
Yeah, so maybe the adjustment is starting to click in for the Owls. Tonight might be the night where the offense starts to look the way that Jeff Collins wants it to look. That's the end of the first quarter here in Philadelphia. And we expected a more competitive game than the records might indicate. I think we're definitely getting that. The Owls lead Navy 10-3. Taco Bell, proud partner of the college football playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. Well, it was just Halloween. Why not rewear the costume? He doesn't need a costume. I love the owl. I mean, you can have your eagle and hawk and falcon and all that stuff. Birds in college football, that's my number one choice right there.
By far.
What a strong take that was. First down, or a second down run, first play of the second quarter. And David Hood, who's looking spry here in this one. Temple's offense continues to look good.
The owl with a high for the camera, and David Hood certainly as well so far in this game, getting a lot of the early action.
First and 10, Temple. Hood will get another carry, trying to get to the corner and kind of stumbled forward, got a yard, maybe two. Micah Thomas, one of the top defensive players for Navy, with the tackle.
This being the good test now, you know, they've had Navy on its heels, but now it's 3rd and long. You know, so now I'm sorry, second down, my bad, 2nd and long. But so I would imagine you go to one of these short passes again. You see Navy's now playing off again. They're not playing up in that tight man. So look for one of those, either that inside zone run to bounce or that quick pass.
You've talked a lot about these kind of rhythm passes for Temple. They have been productive. Now that one doesn't get big yardage to set up 3rd down. Randall Jones with the catch. But Frank Newtown, this is his 2nd career start. A guy who's been in the program for 4 years, but he has not played much at all. He looks good.
Poised, decisive, really concise footwork. And a lot different than the guy they're used to in Logan Marchie, who's a little more mobile quarterback, a little more involved in the run game. There's something to be said for having a little bit of lead feet that keeps you grounded in the pocket and forces you to spread the ball around to the guys that are true athletes.
3rd and 5 for Temple. We'll see if the Owls can do that here. That one complete. Kirkwood, first down, out close to the 45-yard line.
Again, I really think this offense and getting beat on that long touchdown when they were up in aggressive man has now backed this Navy defense off a little bit. Good route coming back. Just a little out route, finding the hole. Good job by Newtown getting the ball in there. Nothing fancy with these routes. He's taking exactly what the defense is giving him. This is pitch and catch right now.
Isaiah Wright's going to take his 2nd direct snap of the game. This time Navy read that one well. Wright gets a yard or so on 1st down. Josh Webb, who has shown up the last few games for Navy, made the tackle. How about this? That's the 22nd play run by Temple in this game so far. They have 9 first downs. 22 plays, 9 first downs. 8 for his last 8 with a touchdown, the long touchdown pass that put Temple ahead 10-3. Jeff Collins has to like what he is seeing. A defensive guy, but has a specific idea of what he wants his offense to look like, and I think he wants it to look like this. Down the field, it is incomplete. And looking for a flag, here comes a flag.
And going after Elijah Merchant again, one-on-one coverage with the blitz.
Brandon Mack going the deep route here.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 13. Automatic. First down.
Just little fake to the inside, then going long.
And Mack, another big body. I mean, you look at the way these guys run. Mack 6'5", 6'3", 6'2", all across the board. There is size in this Temple wide receiver room.
I don't know if it's a defensive player in me, but I didn't see a whole lot there.
Yeah.
As far as a penalty
sounds about
concerned.
right.
In real time, it definitely looked like more contact than when you watch it on replay. Armstead gets the carry on 1st down. Well, here we go again. Temple moving into Navy territory. Let's go down to Laura.
Yeah, Dave, we've seen these first downs from this Temple offense, and Frank Newtown told me they didn't want to be obsessed with time of possession facing a triple option offense on the other side. So they just said the goal this week was get first downs. They've done that so far.
Yes, they have.
I'd say.
Newtown from the shotgun, a delayed handoff, almost like an old-style draw play. You don't see a lot of those anymore. I don't see a lot of those anymore. for a nice gain on second down.
And you saw the tackle game on the inside there. Navy's defensive lineman, number 99, the looper on that play, and leaves a huge void behind that Armstead is more than happy to run right through.
Took himself right out of the play, and that's what you'll see out of this Navy defense. Every single play, someone will slant or someone will be coming or blitzing. They're moving all the time on that defense. Sometimes it pays off. Other times, like Mike, you just said, it can leave a big hole. And there was good patience by that line and running back with that draw.
Look at the total yardage. They will snap it right to Armstead on 3rd and short. Nice play call for a first down. Temple over 200 yards of offense already in this game for the Owls.
And catching the Navy defense a little bit off guard there on their heels, kind of in the middle of a blitz. You saw the safety capped over number 5, who plays that striker position, that sort of hybrid nickel player in this offense, a big safety coming down into the box in Justin Thornton and trying to be a part of what this defense is moving towards.
Temple just totally controlling this game so far. New tile from the shotgun on first down. Armstead trying to change directions. That one was played well by the midshipman.
It's a good job by Jarvis Polu on that, the defensive lineman, making the running back go east and west. Navy seems to be doing a decent job on first down. It's been 2nd and long for Temple, but the Temple's winning that second down play and getting that first down, or either getting themselves in a good 3rd and manageable position.
The guy you're spotlighting there, number 90, Jarvis Polu, offered by Wisconsin, by Utah, by Colorado out of high school. They have some of those guys who had Power 5 type offers. How about Kirkwood breaking the tackle and getting the first down inside the 10 down to the 9.
Kirkwood's another wide receiver in this group, running 6'3" and just making a play by being bigger and stronger than the defender on this one. A great on-time throw, and then shrugs off the tackler for another big gain.
That's what you spotlighted. Those wide receivers are big and strong and fast. Navy's run 12 plays. Temple's got 12 first downs.
Oh, wow.
Touchdown! Number 5, Keith Kirkwood having a big first half against Navy, and the midshipman looked stunned.
Absolutely just lost out there. Just lost again. The wide, tall receivers, and just lost out there.
And you'll see on this play the run-pass option, something this coaching staff really loves, faking the handoff, seeing the defenders coming down into the box, and knowing he's got his big wide receiver Kirkwood out on the route for the touchdown.
Navy's a little thin tonight at the defensive back position. Temple is exploiting that. 12 plays, 88 yards, more than 6 minutes, and for the second time in this first half, the Owls are in the end zone. 17-3 Temple. With 9:35 to go in the first half. Keith Kirkwood, who is a senior, started his career at Hawaii, came all the way to Philadelphia, and having a huge game against Navy. Look out, Frank.
Oh,
he's playing well. He doesn't celebrate all that well. 17-3 Owls. Is the American Conference on ESPN, one of our country's great cities. The Liberty Bell, part of the historic district. Always fun to go down there. Constitution Hall, the Liberty Bell. Temple, this is their home, and the Owls are playing like it's 17-3. Leading Navy, 9:35 to go in the second quarter, and Frank Newtile, the quarterback, the Temple offense have just been super impressive.
Going and loving up the big boys. Smart quarterback right there.
Exactly
take
right.
care of the people that take care of you.
Spoken like an offensive lineman.
Spoken like a true fat man.
Hey, man,
Dad said it,
if we're not going to love each other, who will?
Let's take another look at that last touchdown.
Yeah, again, you've got the run-pass option on this play, so what you see right here from Navy coming off the left side of the screen is these two defenders, one going to come off the edge here, the other going to wrap around right on the front side of this play. As you run it a little bit and see, the quarterback is looking on the back side. He knows, all right, as I see the blitz coming right now, these two guys firing off the edge, I've got man coverage backside. Number 7 peeks in just a little bit, and it's an easy throw and catch in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, Kalen Williams just gets lost on the fake with the blitz coming the other way and never gets his eye on the receiver.
And another penalty flag thrown here. Navy runs it on first down. What's the bigger story right now? The way that Temple's offense is playing?
Offside defense. Number 93, 5-yard penalty.
They got to
first
stop
down.
jumping off sides. That's the third time they've done that in this first half. But otherwise, they played Navy's offense beautifully.
I don't know which way to go because you expect Navy to be running the ball well, but I am so impressed with what Temple is doing right now. They seem, when I talked about looking for an identity, they look like they've had this identity for at least weeks now with how smoothly it's running. Could have a lot to do with getting the players back, especially on that old line, especially you get that center back in Matt Hennessy to kind of run the show there. But you got to give Newtile a lot of credit. He's in rhythm. Navy's got to take him out of rhythm.
And off to the fullback on 1st down and 5 after the offsides penalty. Chris High, the senior from Oklahoma City, who is back healthy this week, one of their better players on offense. 2nd down coming up.
And you're going to see with all the movement that Temple does inside, it's going to be boom or bust a lot of times. The way these guys slant and move around, sometimes you're going to hit right where that fullback ends up.
AB under center. Keeps it himself this time. Spins forward to get the Navy 1st down out to the 39.
Finally moving the chains again. 6 yards. They had one play of 6 yards before this. Temple has had 6 plays over 12 yards, 6 or 7. It's been amazing. You're used to seeing Navy break off these long runs, and Temple's kept them in check.
One thing about the midshipmen in this offense, it's not like it's impossible for them, but it's not a team and offense that is built to play from way behind. So it feels like a very important drive for the midshipmen. Again, more good defense from Temple. That linebacking core is playing well. That's the sophomore William Kwenku with the tackle.
And this is what you wanted to do. Take advantage of your big plays on offense if you're Temple or one of these teams playing Navy and bury them early for the exact reason that you just mentioned. Make them work at something they're not used to.
Kind of a cool look at the offense as they get set to go. Perry in motion. AB keeps it. And that's a nice gain. Close, but not quite a 1st down.
Right to your point, Mike, when Temple's going to take chances, they blitz a linebacker that time. He gets knocked off path, and there was a bigger hole for AB. So just what you were saying, Temple's going to take some chances. They're going to slant. They're going to do some things as well. And now
we're at the money down.
Hey, those guys get tired by the end of the game. Temple's whole deal is 3rd down for defense. The money, those guys are forced to jump up and down the whole time as the play gets set. You got to keep going. Keep jumping. 1st down.
What college football sideline is complete without the group of non-travel players in sweats getting absolutely hyped for every kickoff, every 3rd down? It's a tale as old as time.
And Temple does a good. Swag is a word you hear a lot around the Temple football program. They try to have some personality, some character. It's not the word that you most quickly associate with Navy.
No, it is not. It didn't work on that money down.
No.
They're going to ask for some change back on that one. Come on now.
The swag chalice, it runneth over.
Yes. That's Jeff Collins' big thing. He drinks out of a sort of a decorated, I don't really know how to describe it. He calls it a swag chalice. He drinks his Gatorade out of this cup. It's just kind of part of trying to be fun and relate to the players. You see lots of coaches doing stuff like that these days.
Listen, it's exactly what you're picturing in your head at home. When you hear the word swag chalice, I promise you it is not an exaggeration.
All right, let's take it. Do we have a picture of the swag chalice?
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. We weren't kidding. Yeah.
Now, can you picture Navy having a swag chalice? No.
But right now, the way Temple's playing, I can picture Coach drinking out of that thing.
Yeah.
Somewhere the Miami turnover chain is shaking its head.
That's kind of the idea, the spirit of the whole thing. 2nd and 8. And that play just never had a chance right from the start.
The key, we talk about AB and him running the ball 29 times a game and Keenan Reynolds when he was here and that whole deal. The key to an option team, the fullback has to get going. And the fullback cannot get going because of that D-line of Temple right now.
Well, there is a player down. Andrew Wood, very talented offensive lineman for Navy.
Had a bunch of SEC offers in his career. I mean, you just look at what embodies this Navy team, and a guy like Evan Martin, who's your vocal leader, that's played right guard for them. A guy that talked about from an early age wanting to serve his country in this status, be in the military. Actually, was an Army fan growing up before he realized, as he put it, Navy had a better football team.
Yeah, Army people do not want to hear that. Andrew Wood.
His words.
Yeah, walking off, it looks, always good to see somebody walk off, so you hope everything's okay there.
You can make a case that Andrew Wood is the most highly recruited player ever to come play football at Navy. And that's kind of what's happened with this program. The anecdote you just told, high school players have paid more and more attention to the midshipmen, and they are starting to get some players who have a lot of choices in big-time college football who, for many of the reasons that you documented, decide to come to the Naval Academy. That's a run close to, but stopped short of a first down, close enough to where I think the midshipmen will go for it.
I don't think there's any doubt they'll go. Chris High, there's not many teams in the country that on 3rd and 10 are going to do a fullback dive right up the gut.
Navy gets to the line quickly on 4th and 2. This is the spot where you say the go-to play has sort of been the quarterback himself, huh?
Exactly. Expect something like a quarterback keeper here, going to the sideline check, trying to get a look at the defense.
4th and 2, and a timeout called by Ken Niumatalolo. Now, Navy wants to make sure they get this one right. They are down a couple touchdowns with only 4:25 to go in the first half. So the midshipmen are going to get organized with a big 4th down play coming up. When we come back to Philadelphia, Navy knows they're in some trouble tonight against the Owls, trailing 17-3.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football, brought to you by Boost Mobile and Murder on the Orient Express, in theaters November 10th.
All right, a look inside the Tyler School of Art, their glass blowing program. We revealed the playoff rankings this week, guys. I don't know if you knew. Number 2 ranked glass blowing program in the country, Temple. Number 2, it says it right here.
I was trying to tell by your face if you were being serious or not.
The number 2 ranked glass program in the country.
Okay.
Something to hang your hat on.
I didn't know they ranked that.
4th and 2, AB breaks a tackle and lunges ahead, I think, to get the first down. Close, but that was a tough run to get the 2 yards.
And man, the block by Chris High. Again, the fullback turns into a lead blocker on that play, and Chris High took his block seriously right here.
Oh, that's good leg drive. Wow.
It's a bear hug you never want to see.
That's commitment.
If you play offense for Navy, no matter what position you play, you better be able to block.
That's what they tell us about Malcolm Perry. They said, forget the big runs. Watch this kid as a blocker.
Number 10, who is their speedster. He hadn't touched the ball that much. They will throw on first down, Navy will, and a completion, their first pass completion of the game to Tyler Carmona.
And he is their big receiver, 6'4", about 225, 230 pounds.
That a pretty tame catch for him, too. Used to about a 33-yard average.
Well, he's ticked off that he fell down and didn't get about 25 more. One of the better first down plays, though, for the midshipmen, which is always a key when you defend Navy. If you can limit them on first down, kind of sets everything up defensively. AB will keep it, and AB got close. I think he did get the first down.
Temple is just playing so well and so disciplined. You see when the Navy is motioning one of the wings, that backside backer is usually blitzing up the middle to fill that space, and then everybody just takes their job right down the line.
Now, you referenced it earlier. Do you think the fact that Temple played Army the game prior has helped them?
I think absolutely. I mean, it's not the exact same offense, but close enough to where they're getting a lot of the same blocks 2 weeks in a row.
There's Malcolm Perry with the pitch. Perry can outrun a lot of defenders. He also has some moves. He takes a big hit from the safety Delvon Randall, but a nice gain on first down.
We haven't seen any outside plays, and this is a quick outside play.
Ooh. Pop.
That's a stick.
Delvin Randall's a guy they'll roll down at linebacker every once in a while, too, and you could see why.
He looked like a linebacker making that tackle. 12-play drive. This will be the 13th play of the drive for Navy. Their best drive by far. The pitch almost mishandled there, but taken in by Keone Cordell Makakau, who is another freshman. Not many play for Navy, but he's a talented kid. 1st and 10 midshipmen.
And you start to look for tells on this offense. You see those receivers lining up tight. Usually the runs following those blockers on the edge of the line, trying to capture that edge. Like you said, everyone has to block, and on outside tosses, you're only as good as your tight end and wide receiver's ability to capture that edge.
I don't think Navy would be disappointed if this drive ended up in the end zone, but also ending the first half. A negative play on first down as AB goes down.
Again, just great discipline. Someone has fullback, someone has quarterback, and there was nowhere to pitch because the pitch man was covered up as well. Everybody rolling right to their responsibility. AB nowhere to go with the ball, so he has to try and run it himself.
Well, Sharif Finch, who was holding his left leg or knee, is down on the field. The smile hopefully is a good sign. They'll check on him, and we'll be back right after this.
And he's pilfering the bobbleheads.
Keep your hands off Golig's stuff.
Just stop it.
And stop asking me for bobbleheads. It's getting out of hand.
Bad man.
2nd and 12. We can't wait to watch that halftime. The pitch play to Perry. Cuts it upfield decisively, and Malcolm Perry, you can see why they like him so much. He just pops when he gets the ball. He's got some stuff.
A little misdirection. Start one way, come back the other. You have High out there blocking, so you know his man's not making the tackle. And then Perry finishes off the run. Misdirection, though.
Well, the one down marker says third down. One says first down. It is first down and goal for Navy. So we got to get that corrected. We did. Right about a minute to go. A handoff to the fullback straight ahead running. A gain of 2.
It's nice that someone listens to you around here, Dave.
Somebody does, yeah. It doesn't always happen, but
again, that's the play you need to get going if we're in the triple option. But it was Isaiah Graham-Mobley did a nice job of filling on the fullback.
Well, now whistles, and who wants a timeout? Somebody. Temple does. Well, I saw a signal for a timeout. Now we got a player down on the field with 44 seconds to go until halftime. This has been a Navy kind of drive.
Yes, it has.
8.5 minutes, 16 plays. So they are shortening the game. Now they're down by a couple of touchdowns. So you figure they really need to punch it into the end zone here. If they do, though, they can go to the locker room feeling pretty decent about what has been a mostly lopsided first half.
And this is really what Temple got out of the way on the first drive, where you come out and you execute what your game plan is to a T, so all of a sudden you can settle down. I don't know about you, Dad. I was always the same way. I needed that first drive to go out there and really get in rhythm right away. A 3 and out, and all of a sudden you're starting to think about things a little longer than you would normally instead of feeling that rhythm the way Temple's offense has all game and the way Navy's offense has struggled to find.
And then, Dave, to your point, Navy taking up the time here. I agree with you. Punch it in, get the touchdown, come out in the third quarter. Who gets the ball first?
Navy gets the ball.
Navy gets the ball first, so all of a sudden you get yourself right back in the ball game.
2nd and goal, 34 seconds to go until halftime. The pitch, this is Perry again. Perry will cut it inside, broke one tackle, gets down to the 4, and is stopped there. 26 seconds, timeout for the midshipmen. And this will be interesting to see how they play this. Is it 4-down territory to try to get it in the end zone? We'll be back to find out right after this. The USS New Jersey docked here in Philadelphia, which has been a home away from home for the Naval Academy over many, many years. But tonight, not as hospitable. The midshipmen down 17-3 to Temple nearing the end of the first half. This has been a 17-play drive for Navy's triple option offense. But now 3rd and goal from the 5 with 1 timeout remaining. 36 seconds. They set the clock back to 36 seconds, so plenty of time with the 1 timeout. AB will pitch it back to Perry. He's going backwards, gets away from one would-be tackler, but not a second, a third, and a fourth.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I do not like that call at all. Not at all. When you're going backwards and you have, I think because Temple had been pursuing so well, maybe they thought they could catch them in over pursuing one way and have the backside able to be open. But a great job by Temple as they've been doing most of this half. This is the longest drive against them right now this half, but they have been playing good, disciplined football.
Navy will use its final timeout to save a second or two before halftime. And now what do you think? Are they going to send the field goal unit out and just kick, take some points?
Got to imagine you take the points before the half, knowing you're going to get the ball to start again. Try and keep some of that momentum. The last thing you want to do is go 18 plays with nothing to show for it on the back end.
And that's where this play that you're talking about, it went backwards by a couple of yards.
It did, yeah. Was not overly impressed with it as it starts this way, and then the play is going to come back this way. Let's roll it for a bit and just watch Temple, what they do. You see the play going the other way. Now let's roll back. Freeze it. And you got these guys able to come back. Another coming over here. You thought he might get the corner, but Temple just did a good job flagging it down, going down the line. Good pursuit angle. Great hustle back. Not getting fooled.
And you were right. Navy is going to take some points if they can convert on the field goal. Bennett Mooring, who kicked a long field goal earlier, this one from 25 yards. Jeff Collins is going to use at least one of his timeouts, which, I mean, it's a 25-yard field goal. You're going to ice the guy for basically an extra point. Seems a little silly to me, but that's what college coaches do. If they have the timeouts, they use them. They feel like they have to.
Yeah, you can't take them with you.
Can't take them with you into the locker room, so it's hard to say it's a mistake. Dave Fleming, Mike Golick. Guys, I mean, I don't think any of us saw this first half playing out exactly like this, and you got to give Temple credit playing their best game by far so far this year.
Coach Collins and this offense came out first play, 5 wide, setting a tone, really transitioning to this spread system that they want to use to define who they are.
Well, is Jeff going to use that last time out here? Doesn't look like it. 25-yard try. Kick is up. And it is good. So just a little delay for Navy, but they get the 3 points. They can take that to the locker room. They will get the ball to start the second half. But Frank Newtile and the Owls controlled the first half, and they take the lead into the locker room. Time to send it to studio. Stay away from the bobbleheads, Adnan, alongside Joey and Jesse. Back here live in Philadelphia, we get ready to start the second half. Temple playing their best game of the year. They lead Navy 17-6. Navy leading the country in rushing yards, only 87 in the first half. Temple's defense did a fantastic job against the midshipmen. Dave Fleming back with you here. Finally, a little breathing room here in the booth. We asked the question of my partners, the Golicks, so how is Temple doing it? How are they shutting down the midshipmen and their rushing attack? We sent them over to the demo field to find out.
So you see on this play, Navy offensive linemen taught to fire out fast and low. That becomes increasingly harder against the Temple 3-man front that loves movement tonight.
Yeah, Coach Collins told Laura they're playing that more that 3-man line, using the Navy momentum against them. So now when that center's coming off the ball, nose tackle just disappearing. So, just disappearing and then stepping back in and filling the space quickly again. So you're seeing movement on the D-line, so they don't have to worry about the cut block as much. Everybody playing responsible football, but taking a gap, refilling, and making the play before the fullback can hit. Fullbacks have less than 20 yards in this game.
And Mike, senior and junior, join us back here at the broadcast position. It's like you guys haven't lost anything.
A little winded.
Yeah, the conditioning level is not what it once was, Dave.
We got to send you back over. We found this turf and set up this demo field in the booth. We got to use that again here in the second half. Meanwhile, some whistles blowing, and that was a fair catch signal on the kickoff.
Fair catch signal was given by the receiving team. First down.
Wow.
Wow.
What a mistake by Navy.
You don't see that much.
Zach Frade was deep to return, and he fair caught that kickoff. Navy's going to be pinned inside the 5-yard line.
I mean, could you possibly be, just lose your mind there for a minute and think it's a punt return?
I mean, I don't think I've ever really seen that.
I've never seen that.
The deep man on a kickoff return, and Zach is trying to explain to everybody what happened. He doesn't think he did it. His head coach is not buying it. So the midshipmen have to start inside the 5. Chris High, the fullback, runs straight ahead for a Navy first down. Let's see if we can detect what the officials saw. I mean, this was just so unusual.
Look down at the bottom of the screen.
Well, you see he raised his arm there, just
kind of
initially.
I wonder
right
if he
away.
was raising his arm quickly to let his partner know I got this one. Wow.
But they call that a fair catch. AB with the quarterback keeper on 1st and 10 got a yard. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, Ken Niumatalolo was telling me coming into the second half, they really don't care that Temple's come out in a 3-4 defense that they might not have been expecting as much. They said, look, we play 3-4, Air Force plays it, so does Army. We're used to it. We just have to adjust to it. But I did talk to someone who had been in there for halftime with that Navy team, and he said it was intense, to say the least.
I mean, you can imagine, Navy's lost 2 games in a row. Now, they played high-level opponents, Memphis and UCF. Probably right now the 2 best teams in the American, but they're not used to losing 2 games in a row, let alone 3. And they're in danger of that happening tonight. Aby keeps it and got tackled for a very short gain. Sean Bradley, another good play from his middle linebacker spot.
Again, these linebackers, the line stopping the dive, except say for that first play of the half we just saw. But then the linebackers filling, whether they have quarterback responsibility or whoever's ending up out on the pitch man, but they're keeping AB in check, no doubt about it.
Now 3rd down and 7. Maybe only converted 1 3rd down in that first half. They only had 3 possessions. I mean, it was such a strange first half in terms of the game being shortened on both sides. AB will keep and gets tackled. More good defense from Temple. Sharif Finch makes the play, 4th down.
See, that's one where I talked about being a little more prudent. He needs to pitch the ball.
Yeah.
High's out there blocking the man that's out there that's going to be on the pitch man. Abby, pitch the ball. High's out there blocking, pitch it. You know, but I think sometimes he wants to do too much. He has a lot of confidence in himself that he can make the wrong read, and I think that was one of them.
Isaiah Wright deep to receive for Temple. The defense forces a punt right away at the start of the 3rd quarter. Owen White, kind of a line drive. Looks like a returnable punt for Wright. He will cut it upfield. Wright to the 40, still on his feet, and gets gang tackled at the 41. So Temple will get the ball back. Let's go down again to Laura.
Yeah, Dave, this may sound crazy, but because of Navy's long offensive possession before halftime, and it's been about 51 minutes of real time since Frank Newtile has touched the football on the field. Now, that said, he apparently is allergic to sitting down because he didn't sit down that whole last part of the first half, and then of course maybe he sat down in halftime, we don't know. But he's come out here and just been talking to anybody who will talk to him. He's giving props to everybody, including the water boy. No, I'm not kidding. He wanted to give props to the water boy. He is fired up, a ball of energy down here on the sideline and on the field as well.
Cannot confirm or deny halftime sitting.
We weren't quite in there as Newtile hands it off. First play run in almost an hour for Temple, and it's David Hood with another nice gain on the ground. Navy had run 22 straight plays in this game, plus the long halftime break.
And what do? You get right back to exactly what the staff talked about. First down, power run, get right back into rhythm. 2nd and short here, off to a great start.
And Jeff Collins was really happy with the play of his quarterback, the junior Frank Newtile. Just his 2nd career start. Looking to throw on 2nd down the field, incomplete. Jennings got held up just enough. It'll be 3rd down.
You can get away with that at 3rd and 3, 3.5, knowing still you have some good options on 3rd down here. But going back to what Laura said about an Anthony Newtile, I could imagine he's 13 to 16 in the first half. He had a hot hand. He was dealing. He wanted to get back out on that field.
This would be a perfect opportunity. We saw 3rd down in the first half. Get that short passing game going. Get your quarterback back in rhythm. This would be a great spot to try and do it again. Maybe target right coming out of that slot.
Let's see if Navy is a little more aggressive on 3rd and 3. Down at the bottom, they are.
Now back off just a little bit. Temple will go in that direction, and an easy pitch and catch for a 1st down. A penalty flag is thrown at the end. Maybe a late hit.
Yep.
And an illegal hit against the midshipman. Randall Jones made the catch. He had the 1st down anyway.
Going to drive Coach Niumatalolo crazy.
Boy, it really is.
After play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 6, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Ken, you need 3, you get 4. There's the tackle out of bounds. He's fallen out of bounds, and there's a shoulder late hit, easy call. They're going to call that every time. And I'll tell you, it's very frustrating as a former defensive player. 3rd and 3 or whatever, you get 4. 3rd and 5, you get 6. It's 3rd and 8, you get 9. Just enough to move the chains and keep you out on the field, so you get a little frustrated, and sometimes that's going to happen then.
You think about the start of this 3rd quarter, the fair catch on the kickoff, huge mistake. That penalty, a mistake. Temple into Navy territory, into the end zone. He's got him. Touchdown. Adonis Jennings again. I guess the long layoff didn't hurt Newtile and the Temple offense. You wait an hour, and you didn't have to wait long for that.
Just another great job. You see him going up against Merchant again, a guy they were picking on a fair amount in the first half, and run straight past him.
Actually, yeah, there's nothing crazy about that. I mean, not a lot of hide and seek, not a lot of tomfoolery, trickeration, any word you want to use. This is just straight running and passing, and they're doing a great job executing.
4 plays, 60 yards, took only a minute. I do think it's amazing. He was on the sideline, as Laura described it, wouldn't sit down, was burning energy, and he stayed hot when he got back out there and got another chance.
And you see him right now, no stranger to the high fives on the sideline for the big guys.
Boy, he's got a game going right now, doesn't he?
He does. Temple offense playing their best game by far, taking it to Navy here in Philly. Well, fresh off their remarkable comeback win over Penn State, J.T. Barrett and Ohio State, number 6 in those initial playoff rankings, go to Iowa. That will be a test at Kinnick, 3:30 Eastern, Saturday, right here on ESPN. In the Big Ten, we are here in Philadelphia, Rocky Country, and Frankie Newtile playing the game of his life. A little bit of an underdog story himself, 24-6. The Owls, who were not favored coming into this game, 3-5, 1-3 in conference play against a good Navy team. And they are taking it to the midshipmen. Malcolm Perry's going to let that one go. It'll be a touchback.
No fair catch this time.
No, that's an improvement for the midshipmen. How about Frank Newtile in the game he's having?
He looks sharp tonight, and again, a lot of this isn't tricky. The offensive line able to hold up in protection even when Navy's brought pressure, and that gives you an advantage on the back end when we've seen more of this man coverage that Coach Niumatalolo was hesitant to switch to going into this season. Knows it puts his guys in a compromised position athletically, but still more than happy to let it happen now.
15-19, 202, 3 touchdowns.
I mean, this is a guy who's been in the program for 4 years now, only his second start. He has waited and waited and waited for a chance to play. He's playing really well. They've had the ball only 4 times in this game. They've got 3 touchdowns and a field goal. AB was looking to throw. Instead, he'll get sacked.
And I tell you what, he had Tyler Carmona wide open. That would have been a touchdown. Without question, would have been a touchdown. But there's the pressure from that D-line. Again, 22 sacks. They can get after you.
How open was he?
He was open enough to where he had a touchdown. The move here, look at wide open.
Yep.
The safety may have caught him at some point, but that was going to be a monster game. But that D-line gets the pressure.
Just needed another beat or so and didn't have it. AB going to throw again. Now scrambling. AB will be gang tackled close to the 30. Got 5, maybe 6. It's 3rd down coming up. This is what Navy's offense is not designed to do.
It's a difficult thing to do just from a technique standpoint. All these Navy offensive linemen are operating out of an opposite hand stance, almost a sprinter stance, trying to come off the ball. And now you're trying to pass protect with that opposite foot up. You're at a disadvantage before you even hit the snap go.
And again, pass protecting a team that had 22 sacks coming in this game. I know 9 were against UMass, but they can get some pressure on the quarterback. You force Navy to throw. This D-line may tee off.
We may have to use the demo field to show what you're talking about. There's a nice delivery over the middle, right to midfield for a 1st down, Navy.
And as soon as I say that about pressure, the O-line does a great job keeping the pressure out, keeping AB clean in the pocket, and he fires a strike right down the middle of the field.
Couldn't see it on the screen there, but these running backs and slot backs, we talk about them blocking in the run game. That time, great job on the linebacker in the pass game.
It's not like he's incapable of throwing the ball, but that's not what they do. They lead the country in rushing. They like to play from ahead. They are playing from behind, so the game plan is going to have to change a little bit. Hand off fullback Chris High. Bounces off 1 tackle into Temple territory, close to the 45.
That's something they'll never go away from. Handing the ball off to the fullback.
And Chris High, who is a leader on this team, a kid who comes from Oklahoma City, single mom. Chris struggled academically when he came to Navy at first and has persevered, and the Navy coaches just say so many cool things about this kid. His mom is also a cancer survivor. The two of them are very close. Mom said, well, I thought he was just going to come home at first because it was so difficult, such a huge adjustment from high school coming to the Naval Academy. He hung in there. He's going to get his degree, be a Naval Academy graduate. He's been a high-level football player.
And not necessarily a guy that comes from a place where Navy recruits very often, but Bob Elliott, the late Bob Elliott, my old coach at Notre Dame, one of our defensive backs coach who unfortunately passed away recently, was there scouting him, and Notre Dame didn't have another spot for a running back, and so he called the Navy coaching staff and recommended, hey, come and take a look at this guy. I think he could be a great fit for your program.
And neck injury against Memphis, didn't play against UCF, but about as tough as they come.
He's really turned into an excellent player for the midshipmen. Happy to have him back, and he's made an impact on the field tonight. The midshipmen have moved the ball better since the early moments of the game. They have not finished their drives. They'll give it to a different fullback this time for a short gain. That's Josh Walker. Another guy who's been hurt. The bye week came at a good time for Navy.
Sure did. They needed to rest up a whole lot of people, certainly for Temple as well. Temple had lost. They were starting 4 new offensive linemen against Army, so both these teams needed to heal up a bit, so it was good timing for that.
Third down at 4 for the midshipmen. You figure this part of the field with the score the way it is, you got 2 downs to get the 4 yards. AB will keep it. AB first down and more. AB, who is tough to bring down, fumbled the ball. It goes out of bounds. That has been a huge problem for him.
But that time making the smart play, seeing the end come crashing down and take away the dive immediately. So now he's got space to operate.
Yep, Sean Chandler on the defense had the pitch man, so he stayed out wide. AB cut right in underneath him and makes the big play that AB normally does.
Yeah, and he got lucky there. That ball definitely came out. So the good and the bad, which has kind of been the story of Zach Abe's season. A lot of good, but the turnovers have been a problem. Going to throw the ball on first down, and that one is complete. Inside the 10, what a catch from Malcolm Perry.
Another play he's going to be sick when he sees it on tape. Right on the other side, Darryl Bonner coming from that other slot spot, and it's a walk-in if he throws the ball that way. You see Darryl Bonner going up that right side, and the sea just parts for him.
Yeah, the safety in that time, Sean Chandler, came over to where the pass was going. You're right. He had it wide open the other way, but sitting at first and goal on the 3-yard line should be able to punch this in.
And they have to. Navy's got to be able to get in the end zone. They're going backwards. This part of the field, they have had no success. Sean Bradley again.
We have really seen him come off the edge, either getting the quarterback or the pitch man, doing a nice job. This is where I'm surprised, Mike, that they're not going up the gut on the 3-yard line and using that fullback a little more.
You see him going tackle over, student body right, and Andrew Wood, who was injured a little bit earlier, we saw hobbling off the field, looked a little laboring, running out to the side, not able to get to the backer in time.
Yeah, number 61, the right tackle, good player, maybe not playing at 100%. It's second and goal. A little long drive for the midshipmen. They need 6. Play clock all the way down to 4. Down to 2. They get the ball snapped and give it to Chris High for a gain of a yard. That's it. Number 99, you spotlighted him, Freddie Booth Lloyd.
They like Freddie Booth Lloyd, about 325 pounds. He's a big one.
He looks it.
He's got them quick feet. He's got those quick feet, 325.
Yeah. I don't know, Freddie.
I think we saw Freddie at the Reading terminal earlier today.
Yeah, I think so as well. He's like one of us and enjoys a good meal. But I tell you what, he's got, for his size, he's got some quick feet. He's been doing some slanting and really making some nice plays on the inside.
A timeout for Temple on 3rd and goal. Freddie Booth Lloyd, who is playing well. You mentioned the quick feet. He comes from a family of track athletes. He doesn't quite look the body type of that, but you can see some of those skills.
How about watching him maybe do the 110 hurdles or something like that? Again, a nice slant play around the center and then filling, slant and replace, right in the middle. Just biding his time. Just a nice job coming off blocks, using his hands well. He's not going to be the fastest guy out on the field, but with the quick feet and good hands to get rid of the blockers, doing a good job. It is interesting, the track star family. And yeah, so you look at him as probably more of a shot or disc man, I would think.
I tell you what, though, being a big man and being able to celebrate that like that, it's an art form. Not everyone can pull it off, and I was self-aware enough to know that wasn't me. Clearly, he's got some of that in the repertoire. I'm more than happy to let it out.
He can celebrate. He can try to get the crowd fired up. Freddie Booth Lloyd kind of leading the way up front.
Shotgun.
This is some of the spread off. Ooh.
And they direct snap it, pitch it back to Perry, who's going to throw. Touchdown to his quarterback. That was pretty nifty.
Wow. That's one of those plays that you design up for inside the 5-yard line. It's a play used like on a 2-point conversion. That's the type of play that is. Holy smokes. Trickeration. Try the reverse, and then AB just sneaks out. Nobody responsible for him. That's a tough one. The defense getting fooled on that one. That's a tough way to go.
Tell you what, for Navy, the quarterback even executing fake conversation with the line to utter perfection.
He did. That was a cool part of that play. Remember Malcolm Perry, he was the kid that last year, early in the year, they pulled out of the stands. He wasn't even suited up. They were down to their third, fourth quarterback, pulled him out of the stands to play quarterback. So he is experienced at the position. But AB sold it and then was on the receiving end.
Attention to detail. It's the hallmark of this Navy program. Got to go up and make it convincing. Check, check, check. Check me out the end zone.
The midshipmen needed that one. 24-13 Temple. This history that we're going to show you here is being tested tonight. Navy has played in Philadelphia so many times over the years. They played in this stadium many times. They are 10-0 against Army here at the home of the Philadelphia Eagles. They played Army 86 times overall in the city of Philadelphia. The game is going to be right here this season and through 2020. 2021, they're going to go up and play at MetLife outside of New York. But so much great history. Remember that snow game? And a lot of wins for the midshipmen on this field.
And now in the conference playing Temple, there'll be times like this year where they'll play here twice a year.
And they first played a game in Philadelphia, Navy did, in 1899. Now Temple wasn't quite a fair catch, but I'm not sure Isaiah Wright did the smart thing in fielding that one along the sideline. That cost Temple some field position. Well, the history of the midshipmen in Philadelphia, they played 142 games here over the years. They have close to a 500 record, but in this stadium, a perfect record. Most of that history has come against Army. They're going to play Army on December 9th right here this year.
I remember when I was playing for the Eagles back in when we were playing out of the vet, and they would have the Army-Navy game on that Saturday. We would have a walkthrough usually if we were home or flying away, and we would always stay and watch. I mean, just the atmosphere of an Army-Navy game, I mean, it's just second to none.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. And you guys, Notre Dame guys, have a special relationship with the Naval Academy, too. Newtile, he doesn't do a lot of that. Got some positive yardage on first down, though.
Yeah, he didn't slide real pretty either. I mean, that's where, unfortunately, you get that little nicked up or something like that when you don't really get down the way you should.
That's one of the rare instances, too. Says he doesn't put himself in position to get embarrassed. We were talking to their offensive coordinator, Dave Pattenude, and he said that same point.
He usually makes the right decisions. Level-headed player. Armstead, an ankle tackle. That saved a bigger gain. Out to the 25 to set up 3rd and 5.
Nice play by Josh Webb there on the outside. That definitely saved some yards.
Guys, we talked about this last time Temple had the ball. It didn't seem to impact them then, but they've run 6 plays in the last hour and 10 minutes of real time. There's Dave Pattenude, the offensive coordinator, whose offense overall has played great. They just haven't been on the field much since midway through the second quarter. Newtile pressured, throws short for a first down and more. Kirkwood another catch for Temple.
That's what happens when your line gives you time and you stay in the pocket. You don't have happy feet. You let everything develop to the outside. A nice job. It's like cup protection. You see it just standing, no real pressure. Let everything develop in front of you. And then the death of today, that offense against the defense, that crossing route late, once a quarterback has time, usually leaves you an open player.
You saw big Adonis Jennings' body buying up a lot of attention in the middle of the field.
Did you also see Kevin Nagandi made the play call sign for Temple on the sidelines?
Oh, boy.
A proud owl. Apparently he's as much of a Philadelphia tradition as cheesesteaks and whatever else was on the card. Isaiah Wright, the quickness across midfield, another first down, Owls.
Boy, Isaiah Wright matched up against the linebacker Brandon Jones is not anything Navy wants to see for the rest of the night. But that is just what they do. They move this guy all around the field to try and get him in an area. You just see the quick option there, moving back into the inside, feeling the space, and then making a play after the catch the way that they're accustomed to him doing.
The famous Love sculpture right near City Hall in downtown Philadelphia. They got all. They name a lot of their plays and formations, especially when they run their sort of trick play offense after Philadelphia
Philly,
staples.
Right, Steak, Rocky, Apollo.
Why not? Hey, live with it, man. I mean, just go with it.
It's a city that's got a lot of personality.
I mean, heck, you ran up the steps today, didn't you?
I did. I went to the Art Institute, or whatever they call it, ran the Rocky Steps, saw the statue.
Did you go inside the Art Institute?
I did not. Okay. I stayed on the outside on the stairs.
Just wonder if you got a little culture in there or not.
A lot of people at the top of the stairs, not running, but doing the Rocky pose. A lot taking pictures. Armstead on second down and short. Got close, and I think he got the first down.
Yeah, he got the first down. And I like the way this offense is running right now, especially Newtown passing. He's seeing the defense, some of the defenders up playing a little tighter, and he's going right to the ones that are playing off. Navy's playing back, not as aggressive as we've seen them in the past, and Newtown is picking the right receivers and just letting his faster athletes take advantage.
Talking to offensive coordinator Dave Pattenude, he said that this kid really chomping at the bit came into his office this week with a play that he liked and wanted to install in the offense.
I think you like that from a quarterback.
Yeah.
He definitely looks like he's got some leadership skills. Laura's been talking about that on the sidelines. The pressure comes and he throws high, incomplete, looking for right.
And if you're Navy, that's really what you're looking for. You need some of that pressure to start getting home because the back end is compromised time and time again. We've seen these receivers in one-on-one getting beat all night.
And the one thing, if you're bringing pressure like that, you better get home, just like they do there, because if not, you are leaving those guys one-on-one, and we've seen what happened earlier in this game and throughout this game when Newtown has thrown to those guys one-on-one on the outside. That time, they got the pressure. They need to knock this passing game and offense off its rhythm.
Tyler Sales was the guy who got there on that last play. Handoff, Armstead tackled, short gain to set up third and long. A couple positive plays for Navy's defense in a row. I do get, we've talked about it here, but I give Temple a ton of credit. I mean, they've hardly run snaps in the last hour and 20 minutes, and the rhythm that you guys keep mentioning, which has been there all night long for Temple, it's like they haven't skipped a beat.
You talk about the energy that we heard about Frank Newtile at halftime, staying up on his teammates, staying active in this, and you see it paying off when he gets back to the field. This guy's not going to fall asleep at the wheel.
It'll be interesting here. Will they bring pressure and try and get home and force a quicker throw? They do.
They are bringing pressure. They get a hit on the quarterback. Jennings, though, leaping catch and stopped just short. Jennings can't believe it. Looking for a third long touchdown catch. He's a yard short, 33 yards. It'll be first and goal.
Stop me if you've heard this before. Navy brings pressure, leaves Merchant in one-on-one coverage, and a Temple receiver goes up and makes a big play.
Oh, the big thing here is they got home on the other play. They brought pressure a couple of plays ago. Here, what's Newtile? He feels the pressure. What do? I'm going to throw my guy a 50-50 ball every time, you know, in this scenario, the height of my receivers against these defensive backs.
The 50-50 balls have been more like 95-5.
That's exactly right.
Game. Timeout. Temple calls a timeout on first and goal from the yard line. So Jeff Collins wanted to make sure that he was organized for this first and goal play. The official, by the way, we saw that second look, made a good call. He was stopped short, it looked like to me.
The thing that I like, you know, you get Newtile 4-12 against South Florida, 20-29 against Army, now throwing the ball, just his second start. He stands in the pocket and takes the hit. He's staying there. He's a big guy. He's a pocket passer. He knows what he does, and he just stays in there and delivers the ball.
I mean, that's what you guys did here in Philadelphia with all those great defenses and defensive linemen that you played with over and over again. Hit the quarterback until those throws are not on target.
Exactly right.
You guys were used to the quarterbacks not getting up after a lot of the times. And nothing more demoralizing or uplifting for an offense than to see your quarterback stand in there, take a tough shot, make a big play for you to invigorate you going back over onto the sideline and say, all right, imagine what happens when we keep the pocket clean for him.
I remember the body bag game.
Oh, yeah.
When you're naming games because you're dragging players off the field.
Yeah, it's fond memories.
Tough defense. Armstead, well, they called timeout for that. Maybe that's what Jeff Collins is thinking. Armstead went backwards, lost a couple yards. DJ Palmore with the tackle.
Yeah, Polu forced that again. Penetration on that offensive line, forcing the back. You know, when you're at 1 yard line, you want to go forward, and you force them to go east and west. You're going to take that away. This would be, let me tell you, monstrous for Navy to potentially keep Temple out of the end zone here if they can do it.
Somehow, some way. Almost feel like they got to do it. Second and goal for the Owls. Newtile going to throw. It is caught. Touchdown. And another perfect delivery from Frank Newtile. Jake Robinson, the tight end, with the touchdown catch.
And if you're thinking tight ends on this team, just personnel-wise, over on that right side, Chris Myrick, Jake Robinson, more blockers than anything else, but you fake the run action, you send them out on the route, and the defense a little surprised. And Elijah Merchant's not going to look forward to this film session coming up next week. It's been a tough night for him in this Navy defense.
Very tough. 11 plays, 81 yards. A couple of big plays mixed in. Extra point is up and good. The Temple Owls, have they found a quarterback in Frank Newtile? Been waiting a long time. PJ Walker played a lot of games in his Temple career. This guy had to wait and wait and wait. The wait looks like it's been worth it. He has been awesome tonight for Temple as they lead Navy 31-13.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football, brought to you by Lexus. Experience amazing.
They do culture at Temple. We showed you the glass blowing program. This is the step team. Now, I don't know the ranking like in step teams around college football. I do know Princeton hosted a competition called Hit 'em with the Beats. You probably heard of that.
See, I would love.
They came back with the trophy.
Did they?
I'm not going to lie.
That's awesome.
Nothing sounds less hit 'em with the beats than Princeton.
Yes. Yes. The hip hop capital of the United States.
Did you just throw shade at Princeton?
Yeah.
Maybe a little
I think
bit.
he did.
Wow.
Wonderful place.
Okay.
Not far from where we are.
Heard the academics are pretty good.
Yeah, decent. Perry. What a hit on special teams.
That was Sharga.
And now a flag thrown. Was that Nick Sharga? Yeah. Number 4.
Yeah. You think Nick Sharga's a little sick of this spread offense?
Holy smokes.
Receiving team, number 37.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh. We were down on the field before the game. We got to look at that, and we were just like, okay, yeah, that's football player right there.
You know, it's funny. He is a guy who, you mentioned the spread offense, has kind of phased him out. He has not played much this year, way less than he's played in the past. He's been a really good player for Temple. He's an NFL prospect. I mean, there aren't that many teams who really use a fullback, but for teams that do, he might be the #1 fullback in the country. He just doesn't play much. So he's taken out his aggression and anger and frustration on special teams. AB throws, nice delivery, and a broken tackle. That's Daryl Bonner for a first down midshipman. Nick Sharga, who is he's an NFL prospect. He is also a multi-talented kid. This was him before a practice up on the balcony. How about that? With the electric guitar.
Why not? Playing some of the finest generic guitar riffs you'll ever hear on television.
I don't think that's an exact sound recording of what he was playing, but he could play the piano. Comes from a family of
11 kids. 11. Got hurt his senior year in high school, ended up going Division II, Western Virginia Wesleyan. Put out a tape on a scouting, site. Next thing you know, here he is.
It really has been a great player for Temple.
I tell you, when you're one of 11, you learn quickly to find ways to stand out, and he has found plenty to differentiate himself from the pack.
The music, the hair, and the hard hitting. among several things. So has Frank Newtile. He has stood out tonight. He and the Temple offense, they have been great. Through 3 quarters here in the city of brotherly love. Temple 31, Navy 13. The big play offense for the Owls. Where has this been all year? And the defense is playing pretty well too. Temple up big. Two big games in the ACC on ABC Saturday. Number 4 Clemson, number 20 NC State. We saw them play really well on a Thursday night against Louisville. That one at 3:30 Eastern, then at 8 Eastern. Virginia Tech on the road. The Hokies have been good. The Hurricanes still undefeated. That's a huge one with playoff implications as well. Navy ball as we start the 4th quarter. Zach Abey trying to get away. Did momentarily, took a big hit at the end of the play. It'll be 3rd down and 1. The midshipmen have got to go. They've got to go fast. They've got to get points on the board. I don't know if they have enough time to do it.
You know, and they've played up tempo, so it's not out of their repertoire to do that. So they're used to it, and then they're going to have to be in it for the rest of the game. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah, they do. They have to play fast. Down 31-13. Abey will keep it. That's been the play on 3rd and short. It's been very effective.
It has, and that's more of what we're used to. I mean, coming into the game, when we looked at these two teams, and especially the offensive lines, expected this out of Navy. They were a midseason honor roll member for the Joe Moore Award given out to the top offensive line in the country every year, but it's really been the offensive line on the other side that has shined tonight. The Temple group back and healthier than they've been.
They've played great. Abey's going to throw on 1st down. Now scrambling, trying to get away, cannot. Goes down back at the 42-yard line.
They're just putting the pressure on again as we have a player down for Temple. But again, you see, you got to respect the run first, and you get into the pass rush a little late. Edge rushers coming around, forcing Abey to pull the ball down. Once Abey pulls the ball down, he has a difficult time because he's not that type of quarterback to pull it down and then start looking downfield again. He's more looking to escape and run, so you have a better chance of closing in on him and not as much of a threat that he's going to throw the ball. Looks like a cramp in the field here.
Yep. So hopefully Sam Franklin is okay. Tremendous athlete, one of those young linebackers who can really run. Looks like they're trying to work out a cramp. Gives us time to check out the college football playoff rankings for the first time. Brought to you by Allstate. You guys have a reaction to the initial rankings?
I like that 3 spot.
I like that number 3 spot a lot.
I'm shocked.
I've heard good things about that team and that Josh Adams kid. I think he's going places.
I think the big thing is going to be there are those that I know Kirk Herbstreit has said it, that if Notre Dame wins out, that they should be guaranteed a spot in there. We as Notre Dame fans, alumni, former players and stuff, would like to see it, but I'm a little hesitant on that it's going to happen because there's always that extra game that the conference championships will be, and could Notre Dame, if they were winning them all, still get knocked out after that? I think they would be in, but I couldn't sit here and say it's going to be a lot because a lot of times you don't know what that committee's going to think.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make. Perry was open, incomplete, because that is where Notre Dame, that could be a little bit of a disadvantage. It could be if it's real close, where you watch everybody else, all those other contenders, have a chance to get an impressive statement win while you sit at home.
What did we learn last year? Conference championship isn't a requirement. Ohio State showed us that. But the difference is that last year Ohio State had probably the most impressive out-of-conference win in the country, and Notre Dame, while they're going to end up with a lot of impressive ranked wins if they hold serve, aren't going to have a win as impressive as Oklahoma beating Ohio State at the Shoe, as impressive as Ohio State beating Penn State last week.
Notre Dame's got a route for Perry with the catch. Turn it upfield on 3rd and long. He will not get there. They got a root for Miami and root for Stanford to both be really good teams and beat them both.
Big game with Miami and Virginia Tech. They need Miami to win. Here's my scenario. Alabama, Georgia, undefeated in the SEC title game. Close loss by Georgia. They both get in. Notre Dame gets in. Then of the 4 other power conferences, only one conference gets in. How about that?
And there will be a lot of unhappy people, and it is a realistic scenario. 4th down, Navy going for it, and they're not going to get it. Not even close. What a game for Sharif Finch and the Temple defense. Well, an old D lineman, you got to appreciate what those guys are doing, huh?
Fantastic discipline and hustle.
Temple's defensive line has starred in this game. Now the midshipmen, with their backs against the wall, forced to go for it, and it's an offense that's just not equipped on 4th and long. Finch and company get the ball back for the Owls offense.
quarterback Elijah Merchant get beat a few times tonight. He was starting to hang his head on the sideline a little bit, and his teammate Jared Ryan came up to him and said, "You cannot continue to get beat. Not another ball gets caught on your side of the field for the rest of this season." And to the Golics, I'm wondering, how much can that affect you when your own teammate gets on you in a game?
Well, it's as we see a decent run here by Temple starting out. It's like about a gain of 7 or 8. It depends on how it's delivered. The message, there's the lifting up. You normally don't want to get on somebody for it, as we watch unfortunately for Merchant, get beat time and time again. I think it can be kind of a motivational thing as well. The one thing about teammates is they know each other well. You know how to talk to your teammate.
And they did tell us coming into tonight that Elijah Merchant had a shoulder issue. They didn't really go into specifics about how banged up he was. Now, most of those plays you don't look at and say, well, that has anything to do with the shoulder.
Right,
but if he's not feeling 100%, if he can't jam on the line, whatever it is, you do wonder whether maybe that's at least played a part in what has to be the longest game of his career.
And this is one of the guys that they talked about on the back end of that Navy defense, who's one of their best cover guys in a defense that's trying to do more of that. But to your point, Dad, you've got to know what guys respond to, and being a leader on a team means understanding that every guy is a little bit different and what it takes to motivate and make them tick. And you hope that that's exactly what he needs going forward to feel like his teammates want to have his back. They know how good he can be, and they want to see that the rest of the way.
Sean Williams got up and walked off the field. Newtile's going to throw, and that pass was dropped, incomplete, intended for Randall Jones. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Saw 2 tight ends in there. It looked like a run set, but still the defenders are playing off, and Newtile's doing a great job of saying, okay, we're set up here for the run, but they're playing off like an easy out route. All you have to do is receivers got to catch the ball.
Yeah, he's 20 of 26. He should be 21 of 26 after that drop.
More of those run-pass options,
exactly.
And that's something that they want built into this offense. Try and eliminate big plays behind the line of scrimmage by giving the quarterback an out anytime there's a funky box look.
3rd and 3 for the Owls. After the defense got the stop, this one is caught, and that's a first down to the 25. So he finds one of those tight ends, Kenny Yeboah.
You're in the slot. Micah Thomas, the linebacker, is playing off. I mean, at that point, at 3rd and 3, it's pitch and catch. I mean, that's all it is.
Mike Sr., you said this right at the top of the broadcast. Temple has spent a good part of this year trying to figure out who they are. And look, for me personally, you watch this team through most of this season, and you think, why on earth? They had an identity as a power football team, won 10 games the last couple of years, conference champions last year. Why on earth would a first-year head coach come in and just try to change that? And yet you watch tonight and start to think, well, the vision, you got to be a little patient with it. Stick with your plan. It's the head coach. It's his prerogative. This is the offense that Jeff Collins wants.
But it's still a pressure situation. It's relying on a guy that you weren't exactly sure the commodity that you had necessarily when the lights came on in Frank Newtile. And in a position where you're facing, listen, for the first time in school history, 2 straight bowl trips to end Matt Rule's tenure here, needing to win 3 out of your next 4. And knowing that UCF is part of that group of games, this was a huge night for this team with a lot on the line for them personally this season. Being a new head coach, you want those 15 bowl practices.
One thing I think, first-year coach, team that lost 4 out of its last 5, as I said, looking for the identity. I got to believe that Logan Marshy is not going to see the field. Is not going to be reinstated as the starting quarterback. Newtile's got this offense humming right now, and I don't think a new coach looking for that identity, and Jeff Collins, is going to change that.
I mean, Marshy, you hate to see that. A player gets hurt and maybe loses his job, but the offense has not looked like this all year. And you figure this would be hard to make that change. Our college football look ahead brought to you by Xfinity X1. All kinds of big games this weekend in college football. We have so many of them. Tell you what, Wisconsin, Indiana, that's a dangerous game for an undefeated team that is in the top 10. Ohio State has to go on the road. That Miami game where all Notre Dame people are pulling big time for the Hurricanes against the Hokies.
And Clemson, South Carolina State, or North Carolina State, I'm sorry, and that excellent defensive line that really Notre Dame just kind of shredded, a great running attack. But that defense up front for North Carolina State is very good.
And playing at home, that is a dangerous game for Clemson, too. Good play on the ball there to knock it away by Jared Ryan, the guy who gave the pep talk of sorts to his teammate that Laura talked about. Ryan himself went out there and made a play.
Well, that's the other thing you've got to do is if you're going to go out there and talk to your teammate like that, you've got to make sure that you're backing up your end of the bargain on defense. And that time going up and making a great play on that back end. A little bit of a switch route there, trying to get the receiver open and manage to stay with him.
3rd and 10 for the Owls.
Another blitz coming for Navy.
New tile. Short drop, throws, that is caught. The quick turn upfield, the tackle right along the sideline. And I think the foot was out of bounds just a little bit short, Marshall Ellick.
I tell you what, New Tile's doing a really good job over this offense is using the snap count to manipulate that defense. Navy wants to bring pressure.
They've had a hard time doing it. Did he step out?
The foot, yeah, it looks like he went. Couldn't tell if the foot went down or not. Did that heel go down?
Maybe even as he spun around, the foot with the ball still behind the first down marker might have kicked some chalk there.
You know what? They saw what Nick Sharga did on that kickoff.
Yes, let's give the fullback the ball, perhaps, or at least let him lead the way.
They might be just trying to get him jump.
They shift a couple tight ends and timeout Temple. That's their last timeout. Good thing they have a lead, 31-13. They've used them all.
You know, going back to that slate we were just talking about, I'm really curious about North Carolina State Clemson in that one because Mike, I don't know about. I was surprised Notre Dame had the success. Now that O-line for Notre Dame and Josh Adams have been fantastic, but that defense for North Carolina State, they got a couple of NFLers up front there. That surprised me a little bit.
They do. An interesting matchup on the other side of that too. I mean, North Carolina State in that offensive line, great outside zone team, really like to try and run the rock in their own right, going against what most of us will admit is probably the best defensive front four in the country.
That front four
on the other side of the ball for Clemson. So NFL scouts going to have plenty to salivate about for these defensive line prospects.
Well, the true athletes on the field. I mean, both these teams will have some of the best players going in the NFL.
Well, when you mentioned the true athletes for Notre Dame, took care of those guys.
And who are those?
Offensive linemen. I walked right into that one.
They're big. They're strong. Field goal after the timeout. Not going for it. Instead, they kick it right through. 33-yard attempt is good. 34-13. The true athletes for the Owls playing well tonight. The offense is humming. Yeah, baby.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football. Brought to you by Coors Light. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
Well, some images of Navy playing in Philadelphia through the years with President Kennedy at the old Veterans Stadium. They played at Franklin Field. Philadelphia Municipal here at the Link, where they have never lost, and that is likely going to end tonight because Temple has played their best game by far and really controlled this one right from the start. 34-13 is the score. The Owls kick a field goal. We're in the fourth quarter. Dave Fleming, Mike Golick Sr. and Jr. A little squib kick, and Navy will fumble it and fall on it. The offense gets the ball back. The Golicks have both been talking about line play. We got an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman with us. We set up this sort of demo field in the booth. So we thought we might do a little demonstration about how Navy is a little different in their pass blocking, guys.
So what's interesting in this is for the offensive line for Navy, you see right guard and tackle in left-handed stances, left guard and tackle in right-handed stances. They do that more for the option and the running. How can that hurt them, though, in the pass protection?
Well, exactly. Now, when you're in a compromised position late in the game running an offense, you're not really used to having to pass on multiple downs. It makes it difficult on the edge because you're in this stance trying to fire off in the run game, get up to linebackers. Now, all of a sudden, you've got one of these athletic
So you're like a
DNs.
right guard and a left-handed
I would be a right guard or a right tackle. All of a sudden, my left hand is down, my left foot is back, and I'm being asked to fire off into the defender and get my foot up that way, your footwork's all out of whack. You're used to being opened up to the defender you're trying to block.
So now that foot's closed in there.
That foot's closed off. It shortens the edge, and now you see that's why the quarterback's on the other side for Navy. It's one read, and then that pressure starts to get home because your offensive linemen have shortened that edge from the start and are giving up pressure much more easily.
I like it, guys. Teaching a little offensive line technique using a piece of turf, maybe that Mike Sr. you played on when you were with the Eagles at the vet. You can come back over, stop fighting. We're not going to have a wrestling match on the turf. But anyway, I mean, it's a good demonstration of how when Navy falls behind, everything that they do, everything that they teach, all the technique, down to those tiny little details, is not equipped for a team coming from behind and having to pass block.
Yeah, and here you see they didn't protect him well here at all. It gets very difficult. It's such a subtle thing that Mike pointed out there. A lot of people may not really notice.
Their immediate pressure again on AB again.
You may not notice that stance, but it really does. An O-lineman is so used to opening up to that rush, and now that foot is closing it off.
And now you see here, once they're getting into such obvious pass situations, going to straight turn protection, where the offensive line is basically asked just to be a wall and be in the way. So these defenders are free to roll right with the quarterback. This is just, like you said, not what this team is built to do.
Why when the camera went off, did you hit me? Why couldn't you try and hit me when the camera was on? Why did you wait till the camera was off before you took a shot at me?
Because if the camera was on, I get a call from HR after, and I don't got it like that yet.
Give it a few years. That pass is going to be intercepted.
Flag coming in.
There is a penalty flag. AB took a big hit. And for a kid who missed some time with a concussion, I don't think this is a head injury. This is more like a shoulder or a sternum. There is a flag.
The eligible player downfield.
Oh, boy.
Offense, number 71. Penalty is declined. We're in the field as an interception. First down.
So, penalty against you, a pick, and your quarterback gets hurt.
That is a damaging play for Navy on a night where they have just not done much against Temple. The hit, the flag against the midshipman, and the interception by Randall. It's been all Owls here in Philadelphia.
Look at these push-ups.
Hit him with that toe straight.
Come on. Elbow. Oh, we didn't see a quick elbow. You got to extend the arms.
That's the head coach after his defensive back got a turnover. So your head coach does push-ups. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, but you got to extend those arms. Look at getting the interception. You put your handle out there.
Oh, free publicity.
How about that?
Oh, yeah. At Eat Team. Add the kid.
Yeah.
Little free pub for the Twitter account. See, that's how you appeal to the millennials.
A penalty flag thrown. Hood goes down. Zach AB, who fell awkwardly at the end of that hit on the interception play, is going to go to the locker room.
Personal foul, tripping, offense, number 74. After the goal, first down.
It looked like, because the hit wasn't a hard hit, but when he was falling, he put that left arm out to kind of brace himself, and it kind of went out in front of him, and then he landed with the pressure down. So that, to me, that's what it looked like, coming from a guy who's had 7 surgeries on the right shoulder and 3 on the left.
That would be 10 total.
Yeah, it'd be 10 total. I was kind of picking up those shoulder things.
We have the ultimate shoulder expert here in the booth tonight.
I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV.
I saw Garrett Lewis getting warmed up, so I imagine we'll see him. They'll direct snap it to Isaiah Wright. Isaiah Wright's going to get some of that penalty yardage back on first and very long. Really remarkable what Temple's offense has done. Field goal, touchdown, 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 field goal. They have not punted. There have been 600 college football games played this season. Only 5 teams have played a game without punting. Newtile is out as a wide receiver again. Isaiah Wright's going to keep it again. And that time Navy read it very well.
It's an incredible stat, Dave. That is just an amazing stat that you said about no punting.
And that guy has to be pretty happy. We were in Tampa at South Florida. Dave Patnude was just beside himself. The offense did absolutely nothing. Nothing was working right. He was frustrated. What a different story here a few weeks later in Philly. Yeah, you can kick back. You earned that.
Got to feel good. And again, if you're Frank Newtile, preparation meets opportunity in this one. As a guy myself who was a backup for a lot of the early portion of my career and took injury to ultimately get on the field and get that first opportunity, you spend a lot of time trying to stay ready, trying to stay motivated, trying to stay detailed in your work, and it pays off here.
3rd and 16 coming up. By the way, keep it right here for Sports Center with Kevin Connors, John Buccigross standing by. Herm Edwards breaking down Buffalo's offense against the Jets in that NFL game. Kelvin Benjamin, is he going to help? What's he going to be for the Bills? Golden State playing the Spurs. Who's their biggest threat in the West? Tom Rinaldi sitting down with Brian Kelly about the Notre Dame turnaround. Interesting conversation there. Coach Kelly has been pretty introspective about what has changed this year. On 3rd down, a tip ball and an interception. Interception for Navy. And a good play on the ball by Micah Farrar. You guys circled him early in this game. They call him a plebe. That's what the first-year freshmen are at the Naval Academy. That not many of them play. This kid's a good player.
Interception, 1st down Navy.
And just like the rest of college football, if you've got good young players, you're finding spots to get them on the field. Let them get success early.
Well, a rare mistake by the Temple offense, and even then it was maybe more of a drop than a bad pass from Newtile, but a good play by Farrar. Navy gets it back. Kind of an amazing connection between these two programs. Dr. Milo Seward's one of the team doctors for Temple, is a part of the Navy Reserves. He has already served a 3-year commitment, was deployed to Africa in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. He is being called up again, deployed tomorrow. So he will leave this Temple program, Dr. Seward's big part of the program, and serve another tour as part of the Navy Reserves. And part of the respect between these two programs. And it was nice of Temple to acknowledge Dr. Seward's and let him wave to the crowd before he gets deployed. For more on Dr. Seward's, let's go down to Laura.
Yeah, Dave, Dr. Seward said it was just a crazy coincidence that he would be leaving so soon, and his Temple team is playing Navy. Some people asked him who he was rooting for, and he said, look, I know who gets my paycheck, okay, so I'm rooting for Temple. But he's an orthopedic surgeon. He said the government won't let him tell us exactly where he's going, but it's somewhere in the desert. And he said that one of the reasons why he wanted to go back to the Naval Reserves, because before he had been part of the Naval Academy on a medical scholarship, he said he missed the camaraderie of it, and he said that those patients that he'll be treating are the most worthy patients in the world.
Well, listen, you can do nothing but shake the man's hand and thank him for his service. Yep. And, you know, we talk about football. This is mine and my son's sport. You know, we talk about teamwork and relying on the person next to you and on the bench with you. And boy, that's not lived any more than our military men and women and how they need to be teammates for one another and what they do for us.
No kidding. How about Garrett Lewis, the backup quarterback in there on 3rd down, will throw for a 1st down inside the 20, his first pass of the day. Junior from Alabama.
I've always said football is a different game, even in the realm of team sports, just because your actions have very physical consequences for the guys you're going to bat with. It's not like baseball or basketball, these other sports. If I miss a block on the offensive line, the running back, who's my friend, gets hit very hard. We saw that happen over the course of tonight. The military is a step further. You're putting your life in the hands of the person serving next to you. And so you're right, the ultimate cause, the ultimate sacrifice is certainly people worth going out there and trying to help the way he's going to.
Well said by both of you. 1st and 10, midshipman to the end zone, wide open touchdown. That's Brandon Colon. And Navy with the backup, Garrett Lewis. A couple of completions, 16 yards. Sam Franklin is hurting again. He was down with some cramping issues earlier in the game. This one is not that. A different issue for Sam.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But
well, we've all been there.
Yep. One thing you'll definitely get out of this team is a Navy team is no quit. They will absolutely fight till the end of this one, no doubt about it. Even without AB, the quarterback that they count on so much, maybe too little, too late. We'll see. Still have almost 6 minutes to go in the game.
Now, hopefully Zach is okay. But Garrett Lewis capable. They like the way that he played when he had to come in their last game after AB took the hit on the hard turf to his head.
Good job identifying there. That time, Delvin Randall, the safety, just slips there in coverage, leaving the receiver as open as we saw him in the end zone. So identify it and sling the rock.
See AB there, shoulder pads off. Obviously done for the night. Ends up with 25 carries for just 60 yards.
Extra point is blocked. Blocked by Temple.
Just that kind of night.
The Owls doing it in all phases. Offense, defense. Now how about the special teams? 34-19 Temple.
Bowl Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show. Tuesday at 7 on ESPN. Presented by Goodyear.
This is the American Conference on ESPN. A rematch tonight of the championship game in the American from last year. Navy from the west, Temple from the east. And the Owls are looking much more like that championship team from last season. It has not been a Temple-like football season yet this year, as Navy lines up for an onside kick after scoring a touchdown but having the extra point blocked. That one, who's going to get it? Nobody. It goes right out of bounds. And Temple got a break there.
Well, that's what you look for, is that second bounce on that onside kick. But nobody there to grab it out of the air, and it goes out of bounds.
Bennett Mooring thinking, well, I did my job.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team, number 16. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So 5 yards from the end of the kick. That one was there for the taking.
Yep.
We're talking about the college football playoff, all the big games that have playoff implications this weekend, and certainly on Saturday in the ACC. There are a couple that do. Clemson's going to be tested on the road, the number 4 team in those initial playoff rankings, against NC State in Raleigh. And then Saturday night football from Miami, the Hurricanes. Perfect record. The play has not always been perfect from Miami. They've stayed undefeated, but it hasn't always been beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're going to be tested by the Hokies, who are a good team.
Yeah, it has not looked pretty. They've gotten by, but the bottom line is they've won them all.
They have, and they get credit for that. But looking for a signature win, this would be one of those. The standings in the ACC, Miami 5-0 in conference play. NC State still undefeated in the ACC, so they control their own destiny in terms of playing for a conference championship, hosting Clemson in Raleigh.
Virginia Tech obviously can damage Miami's hopes here. Virginia Tech has lost to Clemson, though, this year, as this whole thing sets up with the top 2 in each division facing off.
Miami, close games at Georgia Tech, close game against North Carolina last week, a North Carolina team that has struggled mightily for large portions of this season. So the turnover chain can only do so much. They need the offensive version of that sometime soon if they're going to get anything done.
Yeah, Mark Richt talked about it after that game, that win against North Carolina. He was very happy with his defense, but said very bluntly, we have to be a lot better on offense. And against the Hokies, when they play Notre Dame after that, I mean, you got to score some points. I don't care how well your defense is playing.
I'll tell you this right now, though, one thing I will say, Miami, Wisconsin undefeated, number 9, Miami undefeated, number 10. If Miami runs a table, and in my opinion, they're in. Because they would have beat Virginia Tech ranked, then a number 3 Notre Dame, and then if Clemson continues to win, play Clemson in the ACC championship.
Or North Carolina State.
Yeah, either one. Win the ACC championship. Probably you'd want it against Clemson because they would be ranked higher, and Miami, in my opinion, would be in if they were able to run the table. But they have been living on a wing and a prayer a little bit. It's going to be tough to pull all those games off.
Yeah, you are right, though. They have the games in front of them to really make something happen and climb up in the rankings. New tile went down.
Oh, no, the stat is not going to hold, Dave.
If Temple punts the ball away.
No. Think of the broadcast, Coach.
Come on.
There have been 5 teams in college football total this year who have not punted in a game. Temple has not punted probably until now.
Laura needs to run over there and tell Jeff. Tell Coach what this is, and don't, so he doesn't punt.
Maybe they botched the punt and it doesn't go down as a punt.
How about they fake the punt?
Probably not.
He fakes the fake. He pretends to fake.
I think Jeff Collins will be happy with a punt and a win.
Agreed.
I'm going to need more push-ups out of Jeff after this one. He's really ruined things for us here in the booth.
Alex Starzyk is the punter. They've had 2 punts blocked this year. The punt game, I think they're happy to not have. They almost got that one blocked. Had to punt.
It was not a pretty punt.
No, not pretty. Fair catch at the 20. Okay, so that's not pretty. This to senior at least. This is pretty, isn't it? You remember this?
Oh yeah, I had 11 and a half sacks in 9 years in the NFL. I thought was pretty consistency. I called that. Some people call that horrible. 3 interceptions.
I mean, it wasn't your job to sack the quarterback,
exactly right? Here was an interception. Jump over Troy Aikman. Jump over Troy.
Oh man,
that's really embarrassing.
Troy got you down.
Yeah, he did. He did. I got tackled by the quarterback all 3 times in my 3 interceptions. Not using.
Jumping wasn't really a big part of your repertoire athletically.
Good 2-3 inches off the ground I could get.
Now, were you old enough to remember any of that?
No, thankfully, I wasn't old enough to remember my dad getting tackled by multiple quarterbacks during his time in the NFL. I mean, who would want to remember that from a guy you grow up idolizing, Dave? Who would want to grow up remembering that from their hero? And now when I saw it growing up, you can see why I'm so snarky toward him.
You know when I gave up on him, Dave?
When?
When he was an offensive lineman.
That was it for you, deal breaker?
Dark side of the football.
It's a tough thing to swallow when you see your son becoming a lot smarter than you, choosing to go on the side of the ball that actually values brain activity.
Okay,
it's all these things that are very tough to swallow for the
academic All-American.
Which junior you were, very impressively so. You played with Reggie White. That's a nice play, and that's Perry out into the open across midfield. Malcolm Perry's going to be shoved out of bounds.
Well, I'll tell you what, Navy's saying, hold on now, we're 2 scores away.
It's not impossible.
4:30 to go.
Not impossible for the midshipmen. That's 48 yards.
No, it is not. Obviously, Temple wants to get the pressure, but they're laying off in coverage, letting everything stay in front of them. But then staying in front of them all of a sudden get behind you when the receiver starts outrunning you.
Plan backfired there. Lewis is being pressured. He will go down.
Mr. Finch. That was just nothing but an edge rush right around the edge. Nothing fancier than that. Up at the top.
And you see it again, that outside foot coming up there. It immediately shortens the edge. It's such a disadvantage for these guys out on the edge especially.
That was like the perfect example of what you were talking about, how the setup, every technique that you teach to block in the triple option backfires when it's just pure pass protection.
Exactly, and when you're faced with these guys that have the kind of athleticism that the ends do for Temple tonight, it really puts them in a bind. That's why this drive's been as impressive as it is.
Maybe not Hassan Reddick, who has gone on to some NFL success. First round pick, pitch play for Navy, had a first down midshipman.
But it's really a point of emphasis that you sometimes don't notice. Again, when you watch on usually the left side of the line, they're in a left-handed stance to keep that left foot back so they can open up. But Navy reverses it for the run that they use, but it doesn't change when they have to pass. So right foot stance, that left foot is up, making the corner much easier to go around for Finch.
Garrett Lewis is playing well since coming in the game. Pocket will collapse. He will pitch it over the top for a completion to Perry inside the 5. First and goal, Navy. Midshipman, as you would expect from this group, not going down easily.
Perry limping off the field after that one too. Going to have to hope he can get back there in a hurry.
He is their most dynamic player on offense. And you can see why Navy fans are clamoring for more touches from Malcolm Perry. Pitch play. Trying to get to the corner, going down.
And the clock keeps running, and Navy has no timeout. So even when they score, if they don't get the onside kickback, they're not going to be able to stop the clock.
Everything has to happen perfectly now for the midshipmen. Another Temple player is down. So that would give Navy I think the midshipmen are happy with that. Give them a chance to regroup.
Yep. But, I mean, they can't afford to not score and stay in bounds at this point anymore with no timeouts.
You're going to have to score and recover an onside kick and go down and score again fast. So not likely, but still not impossible for Navy. JT Barrett and Ohio State coming off that great win at home against Penn State. A thriller. Go on the road to Kinnick Stadium. So dangerous. 3:30 Saturday right here on ESPN. Can Iowa pull off the upset?
Yeah, well, I don't think so. I think Ohio State, the talk of them not having played a lot, of tough competition, but having that big comeback win against Penn State, and I think they see what they can possibly have in front of them, so I don't see that letdown.
J.T. Barrett, according to some, is right back in the mix in the Heisman argument after his huge game, and it was. He played a great game, especially fourth quarter against Penn State. That's the sort of Joe Tess Heismanology poll through Week 9. Barkley, Mayfield, Love, Barrett, and your guy Josh Adams.
What do you think of that, Mike?
I tell you what, the Heisman Trophy is an interesting, fickle beast, and a guy like J.T. Barrett, who, not of his fault, but we have really looked away from Ohio State ever since that loss to Oklahoma early in the season. Apparently, all it takes is one game. Apparently,
consistent big spotlight.
A big spotlight. Apparently, consistency. The consistency of Josh Adams not exactly rewarded.
Maybe moves on the offensive line. That hurts on second and goal from the 3.
Absolutely
False
does.
start. Offense.
I mean,
number 57.
These again.
5-yard penalty. Second down.
And they've had to do some shuffling, which they do even without injury. You wonder about Andrew Wood, the normal right tackle. More penalties. Coach Ken is not going to be pleased at that aspect of this performance. Second and goal.
Oh,
Lewis being chased and going the wrong direction. Good decision.
Just such quick pressure. Nothing, even though it's a shorter field, so it would take less time to develop. They don't even have that time to develop because of the pressure coming in. Again, around the corner, pressure on the outside. Just too fast for the lineman to get out and block.
Not buying off that play fake to the slot back there either. Buying him absolutely no time.
I mean, everybody knows, most importantly, the Temple defense, what Navy has to do here. They can't afford an inbounds play and let the clock keep running.
And they must get it in the end zone. Back to pass again. Takes a big hit, incomplete. Off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Craig Scott. I think it was Chappelle Russell, the linebacker, who put the hit on Garrett Lewis.
And here comes the game.
Man, that's looking down the barrel right there, isn't it? I mean, holy smokes. He knows it's coming right at him. Throw just a little bit high, but that's when you're looking for a great play from somebody.
So this is Navy's chance in this game. Last chance. Even if they get it, it's still a long shot, but a chance. They got to get in the end zone on this play. 4th and goal. Midshipman. Little stutter step move. Touchdown. Carmona with the catch. And how about the spark for Garrett Lewis, the backup quarterback? He has come in and thrown the ball well.
You know what? Limited sample size. Looks like more of a natural passer than Zach Abey, a guy who's certainly a tough guy, that rugby and wrestling background. But Garrett Lewis coming in here, live arm, and been able to really sling it around when they've needed it.
And Navy, 10 plays, 80 yards, but it only took 2.5 or so minutes. This one is huge, down 9. You can't get this one blocked. It is up and good, so that gives you a chance.
Yes, it does.
Remember, the onside kick was a good one last time. Navy didn't recover, but it was a good one. Frank Newtile and company, they're going to need at least a first down after another touchdown drive.
Ken Lewis just standing in there making that throw. There's Abey. Liking what he sees.
Rooting his teammate on.
Now all Navy needs is to recover the onside kick, score a touchdown, and get a 2-point conversion.
I think Jeff Collins was doing push-ups. They were writing Twitter handles on the grease board, celebrating, got all the money stuff on the sideline. There is going to be a whole different feeling here if this onside kick does not go Temple's way.
Life comes at you fast. Temple finding that out the hard way.
So again, an onside kick, what you want to watch for is that up line. You're going to see, you saw exactly how this onside kick goes. You want that double bounce and a bounce high. So what the front line for Temple wants to do is they want to block that front line. You have certain guys you want to recover the ball. Those front guys, you want them to block the Navy guys so they can't get to the ball. So then the one guy that they'll have in place to get the ball ends up getting that second bounce. 4 guys in front of there for blocking.
There's the second bounce and a third bounce, and Temple picks it up and goes down. Kirkwood, who's had a nice game at receiver, scooped it up, and that should just about do it.
Tell you what, you go over situations like this all the time towards the end of the week at practice. Onside kick team is one of them, and you saw the meat shield that Dad was affectionally talking about there.
Yeah, exactly.
Executing to perfection.
There is a flag.
It's a flag.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct On the receiving team, number 6, to be a 15-yard penalty, is the first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for number 6 in the game.
And that's the kind of stuff, if you're the coach on the other side, you need to go over there and let them know that's not how we're getting down, especially against a Navy team that you're playing against, understanding the larger ramifications of what this group of kids means.
But you see there, again, great job by that front line, taking on blockers. That's your only job. You don't go for the ball. That's Kirkwood's job, to get the ball on that kick. Really, really well executed.
The best guys on that front line, they go out and attack. You're not going to sit there and take the shots coming from the other side. Go lay the wood.
Exactly right.
Well, with 2:10 on the clock, no timeouts on either side, which is pretty unusual. The handoff. And they do need to use some time per play. You can't just kneel quickly and have the game be over. A play like that, if you do that a couple more times, should be good enough to do it.
And again, a big win now for Temple. Needed to win 3 of the upcoming 4 to get bowl eligible. 15 extra practice, essentially another spring ball for a coach that's trying to still reinforce this identity with a young football team. And not a lot of seniors.
The schedule's not easy, so it's not like it's a given. If Temple plays like this, I think they will get those wins and become bowl eligible. This is by far their best performance of the year. That's second down. And again, as long as these plays take 10 seconds or so, that's going to be good enough for the Owls. At Cincinnati, a Bearcats program that is really struggling.
Yes,
that's
it
the
is.
next one up for the Owls. Then the challenge against a top 20 UCF team that has looked the part, and at Tulsa to finish the regular season.
Yeah, so without question, 2 of the winnable games in Cincinnati and Tulsa, especially the way they're playing right now. Again, if Marcy is ready to come back, I don't think he's coming back.
And you know what? If they play the way they did tonight, UCF is really good. That game's here. They would have a chance to pull off an upset.
I love the way Temple's defense is playing as well. The offense really seems to have found itself tonight.
Well, they snapped it with 5 seconds on the play clock. Armstead running around, and that will be good enough to get the game over. Well, Ken Niumatalolo, 69 straight games with a rushing touchdown. That streak will come to an end here tonight. Amazing.
Nice.
136 rushing yards, and they averaged 376. You just have to tip your cap to this Temple defense. They held an Army team under their average as well, so they handled the 2 option teams well. Lost one and then won this game, and then the offense really found themselves tonight.
That undefeated streak at the Link
also
now gone as well.
They had never lost on this field. They have a chance to play here one more time in the biggest game of the year every year for Navy against Army, and they'll have to play better in that one to get another win here at the Link. Impressive by Temple, though. Fun to have you guys with us here on Thursday night.
Enjoyed it. That's great time.
To join the rotating cast here.
Come back anytime for the Golics, senior and junior. For Laura Rutledge, Dave Fleming saying so long here from Philadelphia Sports Center. Coming up in 15 seconds.